are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Hey, Cab.
Yeah, we actually, it's been...
What's up, motherfucker? Fuck off. Shit's getting hard now.
No.
Character appropriate.
Not doing this.
Fuck the police
Yeah.
coming straight from the underground. That's all I got.
Fuck the police.
I'm the one who's coming straight from the underground. Thank you very much.
Gamers rise up.
That's literally
You.
all I got of this song.
We've sworn so much in the last 3 seconds.
We have. Welcome to the
More
stream,
than our
everybody.
entire stream.
Welcome to the stream,
We want to be
everybody.
those nice streamers, but we just
Do we?
fucking can't.
I don't think we do.
No, we don't. But yeah, so we are live and we are ready to get started. Missing one.
Emma's on their way.
Emma's on their way, but yeah, they are running late. I guess buses in Vancouver are terrible right now. And
Hey,
it's
but support
It's-
transit workers who are
it's
striking.
Yeah.
dark at 4 o'clock, so that doesn't help either.
No.
But yeah, so we've got quite a few announcements today, so that's actually fine. We can vamp a little.
We can waste time.
We
Do we
can.
have announcements?
Yeah,
We have
a lot of
our
announcements.
a winner.
Yeah.
Giveaway.
Yeah, we'll start off with the easy stuff. So everybody, this is Strahd.
Fucking nerd.
Hi, you fucking jerk.
Yeah.
Nerd vamp.
He's been printed off
What?
in like pretty freaking high quality, I'd like to think. He turned out really well. I submitted him on Reddit. A lot of people were very happy and very impressed. For a mini of that size, for a first print of a mini on a 3D printer, I'm stoked.
I thought he was holding an egg at first, and I was going to make a joke about eggs, but then I realized I just have bad eyesight.
It's okay.
He loves
What
to
is
hold
he
them
holding?
eggs.
He's holding a cup of
Them
wine.
dragon eggs.
I just thought it was an egg.
Couple
And he
of
was just going to, like, eat a
cup
hard-boiled
of
egg
wine
before
for
fight.
him.
He does love hard-boiled eggs.
But more important than Strahd, we have what Jesse Shaw has.
Yeet, got the
Yeet.
blessed.
We got
Got the hashtag blessed.
Blessed up.
Staying blessed.
Yeah, these ones are the ones that we're going to be using on a daily basis, where Strahd can just be the overarching dicky nerd bag.
Dicky nerd bag.
Yeah, these can actually be
Dicky
used
nerd bag. I
basically
went to
every
school
week.
with him.
They turned out really well. Characters fit nicely inside them. They hang off of character models. Super recommend people, if you do end up picking up a 3D printer, which are shockingly affordable now, to make this as like a nice, easy first test print. I made 4 of them. It took me like 2 hours to do them, and they were great. So yeah, definitely recommend those ones.
So can we send you designs yet?
You can, yeah.
Yay.
I don't have all the filament, the printing material yet. I'm waiting for all that to come in. It should be here by the weekend. But yeah, if anybody, like, the cool thing as well is you can 100% go on Hero Forge, design
That's
a
what I'm gonna
character,
do.
pay for it, download it, and I can run as many prints of that character as I want. Or
Soon
if
we'll get
you
a
want,
cease and desist order from Hero Forge.
No, because as long as we're not selling them, it
I'm
doesn't
pretty
matter.
sure they're
Yeah.
down with like open source as long as we pay for them for the design, which
Exactly.
we're gonna do.
The other option as well, if you want, is that there are millions of free designs that you can just go on a website called Thingiverse, or I think it's like Getib, like
And also on Tinkercad.
Gettib. Yeah, there's a ton of different websites, and you can search like Tiefling Rogue, and it will just list like hundreds of free models that people have done of that. If there's specific monsters that you like, if there's even just anything y'all want just as like a cool little trinket for yourselves, I can do that.
I like trinkets.
What I'm thinking is for Emma, we can maybe make a cinnamon mini, right? So they can actually have like a horse that they can put their character on, which will be super cool. Yeah.
Or have a mini of Hope on a horse.
Yeah, that would be good too. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it, but yeah, so that's kind of the next step of everything. Now that we've done one successful mini, it turned out super good. Those things turned out super good. I've got the settings locked in. We're basically just going to be able to go into production mode at this point, so I'm excited.
Production mode.
Okay,
Exactly.
we gonna do
Yeah.
Giveaway time. Y'all tuned in for that giveaway. And guess what? We actually
not
lied
happening.
to
It's not
you.
happening. You're wrong.
We're doing
Yeah.
it
Gotcha,
first, so you don't stick
suckers.
around.
Wait, how many?
We got 4 people watching at the moment.
Oh, good.
We had 100 comments, I think.
A hundo?
Overall.
Hundos?
It was pretty much a hundo. Like,
Good.
Were they unique or were they
It was
same
me,
people commenting?
99.
I think everyone's unique.
I mean, like,
daily, so
Was each
I don't
comment a name from one
judge.
person who was setting our feed with like different?
Yeah, it's one guy. His name's Joe. You won, Joe. Good job. 100
Good job,
times
Joe.
commented, so it's
No,
all
we
you.
said one entry per person.
Yeah.
So.
So I got the little
That's good, we
random
learned a lesson
comment
from last
picker thing here.
Oh, a
If you
randomizer?
want me to prove it to you, I'm gonna film the story on our Instagram at Dicecream Sandwich, so you can verify
yeah.
that I wasn't fucking around.
Oh.
All right. And picking the Dice Vault winner now. It's doing it. It's doing it. It's doing it. And the winner is Megan Augusta.
Megan Augusta.
Megan Augusta. Augusta? Yeah, Megan Augusta.
Megusta.
Augusta.
Underscore Megan Augusta.
Oh.
Make sure to get them to give us your contact information and all of that, right?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do
DM us.
is I'm going to give
Slide into our
the
DMs.
Instagram winner to Talon and Claw, and they will contact you and get all your details figured out.
I will.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Megan Augusta. You have won.
Should we set a time frame on
Oh, yeah.
response?
Probably
Like
just
within 24 hours.
Can we not
It's usually a
send
day.
them a message since they won?
Well,
we
what-
will.
what- yeah, what it should
That's
be.
not our
we-
Everyone,
yeah.
don't worry. I will take care
everyone,
of
it's
it.
whoever messages our
NC.
account first wins.
Kevin
now.
knows social media. This will happen. It's fine.
Yeah.
The end.
The end.
All right.
But yeah, Kevin does social media, so I'm guessing we're probably going to message somebody, let them know that they won. As long as they get back to us within 24 hours, we'll then pass them over to Talon and Claw, and they can coordinate the customization and everything from there. So
That's what
I'm seriously jelly. I was like, I don't think I got to enter this giveaway, but I do.
I was like really
know,
debating,
me
just
too.
being like, my name is Jeffrey Fleck, and I happen to live in
Yeah.
Coquitlam,
No,
BC.
no,
You're
we're
Jeffrey
gonna be
Fleck.
all honest about
Be
this,
Jeffrey
you guys.
Fleck.
I was
No.
like, do I create an
They were
alternate? I was
awesome.
like, no.
They will, we'll see. Maybe they'll do more giveaways with us in the future, or
Yeah.
maybe let us have, some Dice Vaults to play on our new stream campaign when we have all the cool gadgets and stuff.
Nevertheless, this is not about trying to get free shit from people.
No.
We really appreciate
Yes,
Talon
it
and
is.
Claw.
This is the reason I did it.
We really appreciate Talon and Claw participating in this awesome giveaway with us and
Yes,
all of
we like
our
our
viewers.
friends down.
Given the
They
fact
were
that
the
we are
ones.
using the awesome DM
Yeah,
screen,
the
that we
DM
got
screen
is
for,
sick.
for Kevin.
Yeah,
sick.
I bought this.
I know.
You did.
Just to prove it, here's the receipt. Yeah, no.
So good.
Crush
we were
large
stoked.
corporations. What?
We should. Yes.
Yeah.
Eat the rich.
Yes.
What?
Eat the rich.
Absolutely.
Were you here when I had these?
Down with the 1%.
Can't remember if you
All
were
right,
here, please.
so
That's from Adventure Dice
that's
out in
that.
Langley.
The other part of it is
They're called
that
unicorns,
potentially
not.
down the road, 3D printers are also used for giveaways.
that's right. When
That's
we
true.
have the 3D printer kind of all
Yeah,
figured out,
thanks.
we're going to be doing like terrain giveaways and
We
maybe
probably
just
do,
like
Large monster giveaways.
large monster
would be the
giveaways and like minis that are just kind of like nondescript,
We
like
can
Or
do
even
cards
like
and
custom
stuff.
mini
Full,
giveaways if
like,
people send us
3D
their stats or whatever.
We could do that. The issue really with like small minis is that of course you're not going to get
Hello.
quite the same detail. But bigger stuff, like if there's a room
my
that
God.
you need like a
I know,
4x4 tile of, cool, we can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know you're geeking out so hardcore about the 3D printer.
I can't wait.
I would like to know what happened because I have theories about this letter now. That
Yeah,
I've
well, let's
read
hit that intro
we
and then
we
get
pretty
into
much
it.
know
We can
exactly
do a full
what
3D print.
this
I'm
is.
actually 3D printed right now. I'm
Yeah.
Because
You
it
didn't
was
even know.
told to
You
us
are a
like 3 or
3D
4
print.
different ways.
So
The
we're going to go ahead and
But
jump into
you're
our
probably
intro.
right.
We will see you guys in 1 minute.
Bye.
And we are back. Alrighty, so my mouse would start working and this audio should start playing. Yes, there we go.
Scale, just do my hope impression this time.
So,
Hello, Governor. Les.
alrighty.
Les, shine your shoes for a tuppence.
Boy, no!
I think you're great.
I am great.
So, last we left off, the party having made their way from Vallaki to the mansion of Argen Vostholt. Making their way slowly through the mansion, discovering not the level of enemies that they were expecting, potentially more in the way of aid, finding a dusk elf curled up in a ball in one of the wine cellar rooms, and slowly making their way through the main floor, finding nothing but caved-in walls and leaking floorboards and a few giant spiders outside. They made their way up to the second floor, had an encounter with Vladimir Horngard, the person that they were sent to bargain with, speak to, not quite entirely sure. Just go there and seek out in some way. He ended up being a raised revenant, unable to remember his purpose or his oath or be able to assist the party in any real way. A battle ensued. Vladimir was slain in his revenant form, and the party continued exploring the rest of the house, where they found a series of knights seated around a table, one of whom seemed to be one that the rest of the revenants all looked towards. A conversation ensued, giving some true backstory, some explanation of what had been happening, of who Argenvost was, of the situation that these revenants had found themselves in.
It was a serious lore dump.
It
It
was.
was
That was good.
Argenvost is a good place. But
It was a good place.
it was a good place.
And they made
But
Now it's just a place.
yeah, eventually on from there, the party managed to find Argenvost's actual room, a treasure chamber, seemingly long pillaged, not even a coin to speak of. But Leaf, in a moment of curiosity,
Fucking mending
managed to
shit.
cast the mending cantrip on a picture above one of the hearths, and a spectral form of the giant silver dragon appeared in the center of the room, giving an additional clue as to
Thank
what
you for
the
giving that one to
situation
me,
would be.
Jordy.
Yeah. It's in my notes that if someone cast the mending cantrip, I'm not even
Okay,
kidding.
well, thank you for putting that one into your notes for me,
I
Jordy.
like that because Jazzy was like, I'm just fucking around. I'm gonna mend the
And that's why I was like, yes, you
I'm just
can.
being a
Like, I
nice
was so
guy.
excited.
Yeah. Just showing
I've
some
been mending
respect.
shit since day one. I'm happy to take off.
And then eventually downstairs, trap was triggered. Allura
Yeah, that was
unwittingly,
fun.
unknowingly stepping
Almost
on
died.
stepping on a trapped floorboard.
Yeah,
One of the
those bad
things that I
times.
will say as a DM is kind of fun and yet really sucks because there's like no way for you to ever notice a floorboard, right? But you eventually made your way into that room and then found 4 fantastic potions of. I can't
Who has
remember what
the
the name
thing?
of.
I think it's Amanda.
You do.
4 potions of invulnerability.
Yeah.
Vulnerability.
Yeah.
Which I will
Saving
have cards
those.
for once I go to my office because I've never been to my office in the last
Those
week.
are going
so
in the
yeah.
vault.
But those are definitely good ones. Yes, Megan Augusta, you did win the.
Yay!
Congratulations!
Yeah, well,
You
Yeah.
lucky devil.
You lucky devil.
hell yeah.
So yeah, we'll get your info and go from there. But anyways, so finding those 4 potions of invulnerability, the party realizing that they've
That's
explored
nice.
this mansion as best to their possible ability. The last one place remaining is the seeming mausoleum outside in the
Oh
cemetery.
boy.
Hell
Alright.
yeah.
Oh
let's do
wait,
that.
you glanced over the fireball
What?
Oh yeah.
at the end fight
What?
with the ghouls
Still what?
and the ghosts.
Okay,
It wasn't
that's...
goals when it wasn't ghosts.
Oh, I
that's a
didn't. I
video
didn't
game,
glance
Devin.
over anything. I just didn't think it was that
Super
important that Les was almost knocked out. by
Murdered
fire.
by you
Yeah,
through
well, I
him.
mean, you know.
Through. Yeah.
You probably deserve
You know, when
it.
you get in the way like that,
That's...
It was a long hallway. You were right there.
I was
Oh, yeah.
walking off
so
enemies to
fucking
save my
thick.
friends.
It's
This
true.
is the thanks I
Jordy,
fucking
Jordy,
get.
what are my spell slots at?
You only use 1.
Okay, cool.
So
it was a pretty like backstory exploration heavy session.
yes, it was a lot of lore more than anything.
My
Just
favorite.
one
Nice.
relatively small fight.
So shall we go to the mausoleum? Check
Sounds
things
like
out?
a fun.
How's everyone feeling? Is anyone
I need
Really
to
hurt?
rest, for
Oh, you're
God's
fine.
sakes.
You're fine, you big baby.
We
Are you like covered
We
in
used-
suit? And
Just
soot?
like covered in soot and ash.
did we took a short rest? Did we not after this fight?
You
Well,
did.
I think we
you
said
did
we were
take a
going
short
to.
rest, so your spell slots
Okay,
actually
I'm
will be
back.
back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm feeling fine.
Yeah, because I'm like
but,
I have 51. I'm full health, but that didn't make sense after the
Can
fight.
we?
So
I forget. Sorry. Can we use hit dice for short rest?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so hit
I'm
dice.
going to do that.
Roll them and add your con
I'm
mod.
feeling pretty snappy.
I'm not. I mean, I got 2 spells left, so let's
I
wrap
got a
today.
couple, not
Are we gonna bring our old friend Mr. Elf back with us?
I mean, yes. Even
Put
though
him
he
on
didn't
shelf,
really,
maybe.
he didn't really show that much promise, just hiding away in there. But you know,
Well,
might as well save him. Oops.
Someone's got to check the floorboard.
One anyway. Oh fuck yeah! It was a
Work
1
for us now.
outside of my dice turn that I re-rolled it, and it was an 8.
Nice.
Max.
0 to hero.
Okay, I'm just gonna use 1 hit dice.
That's a good play.
Disney Plus is out
Plus
now,
you're
guys.
fine.
I'm just
Disney
going to be
circulates.
full of Disney quotes.
Okay,
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm really
I
excited
know,
to
yep.
watch 1964's The Knife in the Sky.
Yeah, I was scrolling through that and seeing all of the old like live action movies.
Do
That
they have
they
all
had.
the like wartime Disney
Operation
Yeah.
Kill These
Oh,
Kids
boy.
from 1944.
That's a weird title.
Well, you know.
Porky Pig and Wacky Land. That one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So,
That's Warner Brothers.
inside the
Not
rooms
anymore.
with the potions of invulnerability, door closed behind you. You rest, recover some much needed resilience, and then decide to venture forth again. So, the one remaining place in Castle Arkenvost, unless there's somewhere else you would like to go.
Is everyone feeling a little recovered now, or is
Feeling
anyone
pretty-
still pretty rough?
Feeling good.
I could I don't have that many spells left, but I could care someone up if they.
I think that Hope was not feeling so good. I just don't know if they used their hit dice as well and to what capacity they did that. I just know that they were hurt.
Assume.
We can retroact that one if we need to.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Once they arrive.
I've got.
Yeah,
well,
alright.
I've got,
Let's say if they arrive and they said that they were hurt, I would have used a cure wounds at 2nd level on them.
Done deal.
But if they were okay or they used their own healing power, I did not.
I'm gonna save my stuff in case anyone goes down. You
Well,
know.
this is probably for the best.
Well, does anybody know where the fuck we're going next?
Yeah, we're gonna go to the mausoleum,
Mausoleum?
buddy. Gonna check out some bones.
Alright.
You know, checking out bones is my favorite. Sorry, I
You're
couldn't
over
resist.
here with the Dock and Leaf loading.
How are we getting there? We're going by.
We're on the bone train.
The mausoleum's part of
We're
Argon's
gonna walk on
so it's
over
just
to
outside
the
in the
bone.
graveyard.
Oh right, no, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna
Um,
check that out and then
And then we're gonna maybe head to the next town over, the one that
yeah,
to
just
the
a little bit
bones.
south of here.
the one that
Oh, no.
everyone says they haven't heard from in years.
There were
Probably
That
fine.
one
There were some wine shipments
seems
to
fine.
Perez,
Doesn't
right?
seem suspicious.
That's right, yeah, in
Doesn't
the
seem-
winery we saw that there was some wine shipments over there.
So
So
that means there's
people are
probably
giving
gonna-
something
But not
to that
right
town.
No,
Not
not
recently.
recent. They had
So,
stopped.
What
Well-
you're saying is it's fine. It's been aged well.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true.
It's gonna be
I
worth a
doubt
lot.
that anything's aging in that town currently, but you know we can see.
Like a
Entropy
fine
exists.
conch.
Okay, let's keep going. This bit has gone.
Yes, girl.
Little Bob, little invert Bob.
Alright,
Finally
let's go to the
normal.
mausoleum then.
That sounds fun. Hey Les, you're a big strong man. Why don't you go first?
The big strong trident.
I'm very frail.
Mr. Fucking throws fireballs.
I'll go up with less.
I'll be up with you guys at the front too.
I
Alright.
guess we're the caboose.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out in the back,
All right.
narrating everything we see.
Whoa!
Before we go, I maybe would go to what's his face and just let him know that we were heading out to the mausoleum, but that we'd come back in and grab him before we go.
Okay.
What's his name? Send
Oh,
Send.
hold on.
Dusky.
That's all the way at the front,
Are
right?
we? No,
No,
aren't we on
you're
the main
basically
floor?
right there.
We're
Your
basically
main,
right
your
there.
main
Yeah.
floor.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you were on the.
Zabit.
My
Ah,
phone,
oh.
sorry.
Zabit, but
Yeah, you were on the 2nd floor, but you'd have to go down the main
Savvy.
floor to be able to
Savvy.
get to the mausoleum, anyways, to the cemetery
That's
outside.
dog.
And you would walk down the staircase, and he's just in the room, basically just off the
Yeah.
staircase.
Knock on the
The
door.
room where it happened.
We're all ghosts.
The room where it happened.
So popping in easily enough, you let him know, and he just kind of nods feverishly, as if to be like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go."
There's shouldn't be anything left in here to disturb you.
I mean, if you want to come with us,
That's
it'll be
right.
fun.
I will trust you on this.
But I wouldn't
Please,
say don't walk into any of the giant spider webs.
I
either.
have no interest in leaving this room until you come back and tell me
Perfect.
that this is all.
Keep staying in your fetal position.
God,
We'll be
he's-
right back.
It's
Let's,
kinda codependent,
will
this
do.
guy.
Let's hope we come back, shall
Why
we?
does every guest help me find so craven?
So,
Because they're not
um,
drow.
Making your way back through
It's a
past the
dust
dining
elf.
table into the chapel, the bodies of the revenants that you had killed previously inside the chapel. You've opened the door to the outside. And outside, you see tucked behind the mansion is a heavily fog-shrouded cemetery,
That's
enclosed by
probably
a
fine.
7-foot-tall fence of wrought iron. In the northeast corner stands a closed mausoleum, stone walls, and an iron roof.
Cool.
Les, that seems like a place that you like to go. Why don't you head on up?
Just double checking. Is there a reason that we're going? Like aside from like us just clearing this place, like are we looking for something in
Maybe
there?
there's cool stuff there.
It's just the last place within here that we have explored, and we sort of thought.
I thought we also got a clue earlier about someone
I
suggesting that there was something hiding out back there.
There was a general feeling, not of something hiding there, but of something that needed to be returned to there. Maybe
The bones.
of Ardenvost,
Right.
and you just kind of wanted to take a look and see.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
right.
We're
Yeah.
just
They were
taking a
there.
quick
Okay.
peek, you
So we're
know,
not doing
just to
any-
make sure
we're not doing
everything's on the
grave
up and up.
robbing.
It's been a week. I'll
We might do some
I'll
grave
throw
It
you
might be
guys.
best if we make
Turn
sure there's no
right.
surprises before we come back
I
at some
agree.
point,
Um,
potentially with what
Clear out
we've
the
been charged.
squatters.
Can I,
Is there just a door in front of us?
So no, you're outside, and then there's a little pathway through a series of gravestones, and then there's just like a small little building, very very small. Looks like maybe 10, 15 feet by 10, 15 feet.
Jordy,
Right.
might I have Rick do a quick perimeter?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
That's
Can
a
I
great
cast
idea.
guidance on Rick
I don't think we used it at all last
Yeah,
time.
you can.
if he's looking
Yeah,
for
he's
anything?
a willing creature.
Yeah, he's pretty willing.
All right. So yeah, so he pops out. Go make a perception check for him
Okay.
with guidance with a D4.
Whoa, Mamma mia. Spicy.
Yes, everybody
Papa
thank
Pino.
Costco for these.
Spicy
They were
meatball.
super cheap, and they're
Oh,
so
I was
many.
just like, ooh,
It's talking about the clothes.
Perception.
You.
Perception?
Perception, yeah.
15.
15. Looking around, flying around, he kind of like goes over, taps on the roof. Ting ting. Doesn't seem to be anything there.
Okay.
Bless you, Rick.
Alright.
Yeah, battle.
So, making your way across the path.
yes.
Alrighty.
Turn
So,
into
you all
the
make your way
Pokemon
across the
Monster.
path?
Cautiously.
Yeah, cautiously.
That's where the name
Looking
came
around.
Oh yeah, keeping an eye out.
from. It's a bit I've been playing for.
As you're walking across the path, Leith and the doctor, you two kind of just get like a prickly feeling on the back of your neck.
I get prickles?
Yeah, like you just kind of, you're
Goose pimples.
passively a little bit better at looking around
Yes,
than
I am.
everybody else.
It's true.
And you just kind of like look around a little bit. There's nothing in the general area, and you just kind of look back up at the castle, and you see a well-dressed man, thick mane, thistledown
Fuck's sake.
hair, observing you from a high tower
Thistledown
window.
hair?
Thistledown hair. High tower window, a room you've been in, Argenwost's room.
Oh, is that our boy?
He's just kind of there, just watching you for a few moments, and then just as you kind of look up at him and just kind of like try and get a beat on him, he just kind of nods down at you, and then draws the curtain across.
Does it look like the painting of Argenvost?
It looks like one of the depictions that you've seen.
Lots of
inside
different
the house.
disguises.
Yeah.
Usually the same, fairly similar facial structure. The facial structure is the same here, and the thistledown hair is on one of the busts that was on the second floor.
Alright.
I'm so.
But he disappears
over
as we
dead
see, as we
things.
clock him, basically.
Yeah. He essentially he essentially just looks down at you
Bad news,
and then
right?
nods at you, and then you see the curtain get drawn across, and it just covers him up.
Cool. I'm gonna tip my hat at him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we
Real
so there's something left here of Argenvost.
I mean,
It was-
he's around. He's still keeping an eye on the place.
What does anyone know what powers dragons have in the afterlife, or what kind of are they able to keep their spirits around?
I mean, I feel like we've maybe encountered his spirit.
There's been legends of ice dragons back in the water realm where I'm from, but we don't have much history on them or what their capabilities are in the afterlife.
Given my studies of the arcane, would I have any concept?
Yeah, I'll let you two actually roll a history check.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. 23.
23.
Hold up. History?
History.
That is
22.
22. Either way, both of you
history.
kind of like thinking back for a second and both hitting that same understanding moment at almost the same time. Especially given that this is Barovia, spirits, souls can't leave.
Yeah.
The fact that there was some seeming remnant of Argenvost trapped inside that destroyed painting, you would imagine that this is him essentially just nodding that your course of action is something that he approves.
Okay. He seems like a chill dude.
Blessing of the departed dragon.
Oh, man.
So it's all pretty much all set. We're ready to go into this place without
Yeah.
anything blowing up.
Certainly seems like it. Go on. You first.
I'll
Yeah. Perhaps we should check to make sure.
Well, yes. Let's check around this
From now on,
place.
we're checking the doors, the doorway, the front step right in front of it, and perhaps all the wall around the door. Like
So
this.
tune in for our 50-part series in every episode.
Well, I'll check the door for traps.
Leaf pulls
For
out his
one.
50-foot pole or his 10-foot
So,
pole.
as you're walking
Oh
up,
my god.
tarnished
Then he
silver-plated
gets the pole out of
gargoyles
the back.
shaped like small dragon wormlings cling to the iron-tiled roof of the mausoleum. An 8-foot-tall, 4-foot-wide white marble door set in the southeast wall, facing you, is engraved with the name Argynvost.
This is a good door. This is a solid, solid door.
What's the make of that there, Mr. Carpenter?
What is the make of the door?
Roll a lick check. You lick the
That's
door.
wood.
4.
Like the door.
4. You just
Oh,
kind of
boy.
like step over
He
and
gets
like
a splinter.
It's a wooden door, you still get a
I thought
splinter.
it was marble. Is that
Marble
marble?
door, you still get a splinter.
marble.
Marble.
Before we step up, I'd
It's a
just
solid
like to
marble door.
examine the
The cheesecake.
the gargoyles.
Yeah. Smaller versions of what you saw on the roof. The ones on the roof a little bit larger in size. Some kind of arcane enchantment to them. These ones, as best you can tell, just for depictions. Wormlings make sense given the nature of Argynvost.
They don't seem like they have any traps in them.
Let's
Not as
pop
best
on
you
in.
can see.
Well, can I check the door for traps first?
Yeah.
just
roll
licked it.
investigation.
After licking it?
Yeah.
I think it's probably all right, but
It's
you know.
not poisoned. I'll tell you that much.
I'm gonna just under my breath say, "Sorry, Argynvost."
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just a
Can't
straight
control
roll,
the
right?
fish guy.
Investigation.
Oh, that's 7.
So, you're like,
Honestly,
I licked
less.
it. It's fine.
I was like, I checked the door. Like, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you're pretty confident. Door's not trapped.
Cool.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
Done and done.
You checked it. You
I
opened
opened
it.
the door and I licked it. So I
So
claimed it for myself.
the door being made of marble, no obvious handle or hinges of any kind. Go make a strength check
It's a
for me.
Norman door. I'll pass guidance on this one.
Sure. So you get a D4.
That's just straight strength.
Yep, straight strength.
It's 21.
21, nice.
Dang.
Yeah, you kind of just brace yourself against it. You expect a little bit of resistance, and you hit a little bit, and you're like, oh, maybe it's a little bit...
Not electrocuted.
Yeah, not as much as you think. So, pushing the door open, the interior of the mausoleum is dark and dusty. You see 4 empty alcoves with raised floors, and etched into the far wall are a series of letters that a few of you recognize as something written in Draconic.
Oh.
So
I
good,
can
guys.
read all languages. What's it say?
Yeah, so you and Hope
I
both kind of
also-
look at it. You read Draconic as well? Perfect. So yeah, so half the party just kind of looks over and you just instinctively
The other half,
recount the
what?
letters. Here lie the bones and treasures of Argynvost,
Oh no.
Lord of Argynvostholt and founder of the Order of the Silver Dragon. Laid to eternal sleep, may his soul join his brethren in the stars.
Nice. Are there bones here?
There is nothing.
Oh, okay.
Treasures.
There's 4 sort of
4 alcoves.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 in a square room. And there's not a single thing on any of them. And you did also see before that his treasure room off of his main chamber behind that iron area had been
Pillaged.
pried open.
Yeah,
and
someone's been
completely
here already.
What do we want to guess? These treasures are now in Strahd's throne room.
Yeah.
These are human-sized alcoves. Maybe.
Not really. They could hold a human.
Okay.
But they're not something that you would imagine like an average-sized human would fit in.
I see.
It would be substantially larger than that.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah, the room itself
More
is.
draconic.
Yeah, the room itself is. Kind of imagine like just a very simple cross,
Done.
and at each of them there's a 10-foot wide mantle pedestal.
Oh,
so you've got
okay.
10 foot, 10 foot, 10 foot, 10 foot,
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then your entrance is kind of between 2 of those points.
I'm just thinking in terms of supposing we find these bones and they are quite large. How to carry?
I don't think these are for bones. I think this is for what treasures he had, and then have been
No,
taken.
his treasure
This
room
is a
was back
mausoleum,
there.
though.
This
Here lie
is-
the bones and treasures of Argynvost.
That's
Sounds
what I
like it's
mean. I'm
from
sure
both.
some of it's for his body, his remains, but it kind of seems like perhaps some of it was
601.
for
yes,
something
yes,
special
another.
meant to go to the grave with him. Is that
It's possible.
seem possible?
Well, there's nothing here, so
Anything
let's
possible.
talk about this on the road.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's fair.
Yeah.
Are we sure we don't want to check them for traps?
Can I just take a quick kind of look around the room?
Sure.
Yeah, I
An
was gonna
investigation
say.
check. Yeah, you can as well.
Thank you.
It's gonna go heat up the car.
I'm gonna go get our new friend, Sabine.
19?
18.
18?
6.
6. Looking around, Leaf's like, these are too big for a human. The math just doesn't work.
Everyone
Allura,
knows
you
that we
kind of-
can't do math.
Allura, you kind of like feeling around a little bit, finding the areas where you would imagine you'd be able to catch a little bit of the stonework in the floor. Nothing raises, nothing lifts. As best you can tell, it is completely a burial chamber with no hidden alcoves or anything.
Alright, well, there are fun surprises in here.
No, I would have trusted myself.
Yeah.
I think whoever scooped this place out, they might have been able to, do some magic stuff. So probably pretty thorough.
Yeah, let's
Alrighty.
Alright, let's get on with it.
So returning to find Savid.
Savid, yeah.
I'll
Yep.
pick them up on the way.
Perfect. Alrighty. So you do also have your caravan here, your wagon with horses, easily enough to be able to get one more person back into there. You do have an option at this point, looking at your map, which somebody has.
On our thing.
I got it.
There
Not
are
anymore, actually. I think it's in
It's
between.
on the Slack.
Yeah, it's on the Slack, but looking at the map, you see that there are two major ways to get to Berez. The first one is to follow the roads. You would have to go all the way back up to the crossroads that you had found, go back a little bit ways closer to Valaki, and then due south on that road. It would probably take you the better part of half a day just to get to Berez, and it's already closing in on dusk. It's already mid-afternoon at this point, so you would imagine you probably would not make it there before dark.
Right.
The other option, if you wanted to try and get there in the day, is you could leave the horses and the caravans here. There are two rock cliffs that you could climb down that would essentially cut out a probably 8 to 10 hour journey that you would be able to do in maybe an hour.
But then to get back, we'd have to climb up the
You would have to
cliffside?
climb back up the
Yeah,
cliffside.
so, also, we need to, ideally, I would like to do a long rest. So, I'm okay if it's going to take us a day.
Yeah, I don't mind if it takes a day.
We're all right with being outside of city limits when we.
Yeah, I mean, we're here.
After the shit that we just fought, I think some bandits will be fine.
I don't really think
really
it's bandits we have to be worried about, but
We could also just, duck into, because we killed a bunch of the dudes in the mansion. We could just duck into one of the rooms.
It will take us half, if we can get a start there.
I
Could
don't.
we pull into, sorry, I need to take a look at the map, but would we be passing Kresk at all?
No,
Okay.
Kresk is like.
Kresk is way
Wait,
west.
the other way? Alright, fine.
Yeah, you
way
guys are
down
essentially just
south.
going north and then over a little bit to the east and then straight down.
Okay, would we pass Valaki?
No, you would be able to continue on to Valaki
Okay.
instead of going down.
I got
But
you.
again, it would take you about half a day to get to Kresk. To
Just want
Berez.
to road camp? See if we...
I mean, I still think we should just camp out here in the mansion.
Well, I'm not sure if any of us is tired enough to go to sleep yet.
It's mid-afternoon. You could kill the
I don't
day.
want a nap.
No.
You could kill the rest of the day if you wanted to.
I don't mind doing that. I could study.
It's
some
called the
stuff.
fast forward button.
Plus, what are you talking about?
It's somewhere that you know
Yeah.
from what Savid has told you and from what your own experience. The mansion is definitively somewhere that can be barricaded, and you can easily find a place to hole up for a couple of hours, relax. Maybe do a little bit more searching around, even though you feel pretty confident about
Plus,
finding
Strahd
everything.
hasn't been invited in here.
I'm pretty sure he's gotten what he wants from this place.
There is also a torn wall that's been ripped down,
Oh, yeah.
and the doors are open, so
That's what I feel
kind of
like.
has free entrance.
But we could barricade around.
Yeah, easily enough.
You could barricade the mausoleum, quite frankly.
I don't think we should hang out in there more than we need to.
Yes, I
It's a
agree.
little bit cramped.
We're right here.
No, so you're here. So
See, I just want to get on the road.
So you're
get
right here.
in and out
There,
of
and we're
Berez
trying
as
to get
fast
there.
as
You're
we
trying
get
to
there
get
at half
all the way
day.
back
If shit
up,
goes
all the way
sideways,
back
you're going to
over,
be there
all
at
the way
night.
back.
That's the thing. I'd rather
or
be
you
there
can climb
during the
down
day.
the cliffs
Yeah.
to try and get
I
there.
think
in
that's
an hour.
probably correct.
So
I
my
think we
thought is if we
should
can get
climb down the cliffs, you guys.
Oh.
Why don't we take a long rest?
Really?
Yeah.
And get
Well, hold on.
100%.
What's the cliffs look like here?
I don't know.
yeah.
Okay.
So
What do
the
the cliffs look like?
cliffs are about 1,000 feet away from the mansion itself, so it would take you, a couple minutes to walk over there, 15, 20 minutes or so. And looking over the edge, they look to be about 80 feet, not 100 feet down. And then there's two steps of them, so you'd have to climb down, make it to that base landing, and then climb down a second set. But it would immediately put you on the road where on foot you'd be able to make it to Berez probably in just over an hour, maybe two.
What
it
are the
would take
cliffs?
Wait, we would
Are
have
they
to.
quite sheer? What do they look like?
They're
We'd have
fairly
to go
sheer. You would need climbing gear of some kind to be able to get down, or some kind of ability.
I do have a climber's kit, but
or some kind of ability to drop to that point.
Well, I mean,
Featherfall? Anyone have Featherfall?
I have Dimension Door.
So that would be you and one person could be able to make it down immediately.
Yeah, me and Leaf.
At least we
Alright,
could
am I too big?
set up
Your new
same
best friend,
size.
Dice.
Okay.
a rope,
Oh
That's
yeah, I
correct,
keep
yes.
forgetting I'm
rope
medium.
hold.
Because you reprimanded me for shooting a fireball, and I do not tarry to that.
So there are ways to do it. This one is definitely the quick route. But the arduous journey would be returning back up.
Yeah.
Obviously, that would take you a fair bit of time if you're climbing back up there. Or you could hop in the caravan with Savid, take him north, potentially drop into Valaki for the evening, and then head out of Valaki.
That's
the
actually not a
following
bad
day.
idea.
Well, I think perhaps we take him back.
Let's
If
do
I
that.
were-
Oh, that's what the issue is what to do with the caravan.
With the caravan,
Yeah.
the horses, with
That's
Savid.
the other thing. The last time we left our horses alone, I was annoyed.
Got
They got
killed.
completely slaughtered.
Yeah, we earned
So-
those horses. We lied to those guys for those horses.
Yeah, let's just do the Valaki one. I think
You could
that's
also,
wise.
if you wanted to, because you'd be passing by the
Tower.
no, not the tower, the
Wizard's
Winery?
Wine.
Vistani camp.
Oh,
Oh.
He's a dusk elf. You know that he's from there. You could
Oh.
drop him off at home rather than having to
probably
bring him
best.
to
yeah,
the
let's
city.
do that.
And we could bring them word of Casimir and that he's all right.
Yeah, and they can all go to Crest.
Like quietly.
Maybe
obviously.
they'll have supplies that they could give us for the next leg of the journey too.
Or
We're not
Savinas.
going all the way back to Valaki before we're going down to Perez.
Why not?
It's up to you how you wanted to do that.
I kind of think that's the way to go because we can stock up on shit we might need.
The journey from here back to the crossroads is about the same distance from here to Perez.
Right.
Yeah.
But then we're going past another crossroads, past a river.
Well, we got Savid
Before we
here
get to
anyway. We
Valaki.
gotta drop that bad boy off.
Yeah. So the area, the
We just
4
forget
point
about
He
crossroads.
can walk once he's on the road.
Yeah. I mean, you know as well that he literally was out in the wilderness looking for.
And we don't need to
Arabelle.
deliver him. He
he's
can
a-
take care of himself.
But if we
accomplished
deliver
driver.
him, they might give us things.
They're not very much in the station of giving things.
Casimir's already done what he can for us. I don't think-
Casimir has, not Savid.
Savid, if we were to return, Savid.
Say we wouldn't have to return.
Casimir's their leader. If there was anything to give, he would have
Actually,
given it.
well, no, I'll say,
Is Casimir?
Savid,
Yeah.
do you need a lift back to,
I think he's gonna say yes.
or
Yeah, if you can drop me on one of the roads, that will be more than enough for me to be able to make my way up. I was unable to leave this place because I do not have any weapons or armor of any kind, and
He'll be
the
fine
creatures in
getting
the
back.
brush are a bit too much for me.
Yeah, we're gonna
I think we should at least bring him back close enough to town that it's.
Yeah.
yeah, drop him off.
I
on
have
the
no
road.
problem with dropping him off in the Valaki camp and checking in there.
I have no problem dropping in and sleeping in Valaki.
I need
Let's
to-
not go back to Valaki.
But we have so much intrigue to play through.
We
I
have a
was gonna
lot of
make
shit
less
to
than
do if we
there.
want to get out of Barovia, and staying in Valaki is not one of them.
You know
That's
what I
not
was-
going to get us closer to our goal.
I guess my point would be if it's the same amount of time for us to go back that way, sleep in Valaki, and then hit Kresk in the morning, as it is to sleep in the creepy mausoleum.
we're not
That's
going
kinda
to,
my
we're going
plan.
to
Berez.
Perez.
Whereas,
That's kind of
Damn it.
my thinking. Like, I
then
don't
why
wanna
don't we
hang
just
out.
do that?
I want to sleep there.
So if
We
you
can
so
sleep
if
in
you
our-
sleep in the mausoleum from where you are now,
Or the-
it's half a day to get to Berez,
I see.
at least, if not longer, depending on how rough the roads get.
That's
And
what I
if
mean.
we-
So if we leave now to head back to Valaki, it's the same amount of time to get back to Perez the next day, isn't it?
It would be.
Yeah. So instead of sleeping in Argenvostold, we could just go back to Valaki and drop off
Drop off.
Savid.
And
We
sleep
also are able to sleep in our
Yeah,
cart that we
Well,
kitted up.
Two
to,
people can sleep in the caravan, and then everybody else can sleep in tents outside.
I thought
if
we
you
had
want
it
to
with
do that.
4.
there. No.
Well,
we
you can
like-
still. There's 6 of you.
7 with
7 with
Savid.
Yeah, but Heel's just going to walk home to Valaki.
Well, I don't really feel good about letting him walk home from here.
Yeah, I'm not super keen on that.
Okay, well then let's do a vote. Who says we go to Valaki? Who says we camp on the road?
Okay, everyone
So-
for Valaki.
Go to Valaki.
Yeah, I'll go fuck it.
All right.
What? What do you? For extremely cold.
What do you wanna do?
abstains.
I think I
Yeah,
want
it
to
wouldn't-
shine some boots.
It wouldn't
Unless-
make a difference anyways, 'cause I'm
Unless
the only person
something's
that-
going to happen in Valaki, let's keep it really simple there
Yeah.
and just get in and out.
Yeah. No drinking. We have an adventure tomorrow.
Oh, it's Emma.
Oh, it sounds like Mexico. No drinking. Yeah, we're going tomorrow. Alrighty, so heading back to Valaki.
Yeah, with Civi.
By way of the Vistani camp to drop off Savid.
Yeah, the Vistani camp is just right outside Valaki,
Yeah, I know.
so yeah, easy enough to do. You'd be able to drop him either on the road or actually take him into the Vistani camp.
Let's
It's
just
up to
take
you.
him in. Why not?
Well, we could just.
Well, no, because didn't that
It
guy
might be-
dip to
we're
tell
not on the-
Strahd that we were...
Yeah, well, he's gone.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
sir.
perhaps it's still not best for us to show our face in the Valaki camp, seeing as we
Mhm.
killed
We're
a bunch
not on
of
the
them.
best terms with them.
Yeah, but maybe we can let Savid know to tell the rest of the Dusk Elves that Casimir is safe.
And also that we were the ones that brought Civi back.
Yeah, well that too.
FYI.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, loading up the wagon, getting everybody prepared, heading back out onto the road. The roads are fairly clear. It's cooling down a little bit in the evening as you make your way back. No issues at all befall you. Eventually finding your way to the Luna River crossroads, that's the 4 point. And eventually crossing over the Luna River, back towards Valaki. You drop off Savid on the area where you know the path follows back, and he eagerly jumps out of the wagon and just kind of cursory nod and thank to each of you before vanishing off into the forest following.
Later.
Bye, Savid.
Pulling up to the gates of Valaki,
We
it is
appreciate your
closing in on
backstory.
dark at this point, and a couple of extra questions from the people at the gates, but eventually you are allowed inside, no real issues. And then eventually back to the Blue Water Inn, I assume?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So resting up for the evening, it'll be 1 gold piece per room, so 3 rooms.
Cool.
So 3 gold pieces. You sleep very soundly, rest up, wake up the following day feeling back to your normal strength. So all hit points restored, half your expended hit dice rounded up.
Round it up, right? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
that's where that is, man.
I would have just purchased some more arrows before we went to bed.
Yep,
before we
easy
leave
enough
again.
to do. I think it's 5 silver for 40 arrows.
Yeah, thank you.
Can we get hit dice rounded up back on
Yeah,
that?
half of what you've used rounded up.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Alright. So the next morning, departing again from Valaki out the gates fairly early, making sure that you have enough time to make it to Berez. Alrighty.
Into Barez.
Into Berez. Alrighty. So
We just stop back at Valaki to drop off the Dusk Elf,
Just drop the kids off.
and then
Alright.
head it back out to
Drop the
Perez.
kids off at the
They're
pool.
cool, yeah.
I wanted to climb down the cliffs.
you still can. Following the path and the road to the Luna River crossroads, making your way due south from there, the trail hugs the river for several miles. The dirt and grass soon turn to marsh as the trail dissolves into spongy earth pockmarked with clusts of tall reeds and pools of stagnant water.
Oh boy.
We're going down south.
Into the bog.
Yeah, we're getting all
Really
through and
dropping
sand.
the-
This is like the
Hits off the
the what is it, the marshes?
Into
Marshes of the Dead.
Yeah.
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 For the record, Elise is going to be scouting pretty fiercely to watch out for shit and
Yeah, I'm
the
gonna
fog.
have Rick doing a constant perimeter of the caravan.
Alrighty.
Buzz me if
looking for
anything's
willow
coming up.
Do we have a
Graham.
system for him up there? Like, what's he gonna say if he sees something?
He's just gonna telepathically be like, "Hey, I see something."
Do we think it's wise to take the caravan with us?
I mean, it's probably
Through
the
these-
quickest way out.
Well, I think it's
My
fine as long as
worry
we're
is
careful.
that it's gonna get stuck in the
That's
bog.
But then how we're gonna be on foot this whole time?
It's easier to get someone whose feet are stuck out than an entire caravan and
Not when we have a
horses.
Well,
brilliant carpenter
Perhaps
with
a
us.
couple of us could walk ahead just to see how the route is
Ship the feces.
before, the caravan rolls over it.
Or I could have our flying guy check.
But he won't be stepping on it.
There's forest and woods kind of to our side, right?
There isn't. It's all fairly wide open.
I'll be walking a little bit ahead of the caravan just to test the roads and make sure it's not going to get muddy or too muddy for the horses to get through. Do we have 2 horses plus Cinnamon, right? So Cinnamon is riding free.
We have
Correct. Yeah, you've got.
Riding
What are
free.
the
Oh no, wait, we have
No,
one.
I think we have
one
one
horse.
horse.
Sorry, you have one
Marigold.
horse. Yeah,
So it's
Marigold
Marigold and
and
Cinnamon.
So,
Or in
so
the
you would have
wagon.
2 horses. Both
Okay.
horses. Cinnamon would be able to carry Hope plus 1 other party member, basically of any size. Marigold would probably be able to take you 2, or the doctor and one of you 2.
You mean if we didn't have the wagon?
If you
Or-
didn't have the wagon, if you were riding on horseback, you would be able to make it so that 4 people were riding and 2 people would be on foot.
Oh.
Yeah. Cinnamon is a large enough horse, being a war horse, to be able to do that. And then Marigold, 2 lighter people, probably able to do so without much in the way of
Horse
armor.
riding miracles squealing.
We're probably traveling as fast with without the caravan is with it, I'm guessing.
I mean, I have an idea as well, but it might. I don't know if it's any better than mud.
I'm excited to hear your idea.
No, it's the wall of water trick,
Oh boy.
where I could put down a wall of water that can like emulate a bridge, and then Allura, you can throw some ice spell at it, make it an ice bridge.
How's that going to make the road less
Have you
muddy?
met
I
me
mean, I said
ever?
a bit over it.
Oh, it's like ice.
It would just
road.
be like an ice road. It would be a bit slippery, but
I don't think it.
It would
I
also
say
it would
let's
also
keep
only be a
moving.
certain distance.
right. But I could just keep doing it, couldn't I?
No,
You can
it's
do it
once a
once.
day.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
No, right.
Let's
Well,
let's
so
just
those
keep
are
on
ideas.
moving. Let's see what happens, guys. Let's
I
live
also
life.
don't know what ice spell you're talking about.
You're
getting
Your sword.
Your rapier.
Just stick
Yeah,
your
it's
sword.
not a
I
spell
know.
though. That's
It's
It has
cool
ice
damage.
damage.
If it has ice damage, it freezes it, so you could essentially like
Freeze
create.
water.
Yeah.
Well,
freeze
now
water.
I know.
Looking ahead, you do notice as well that the ever-present fog over the land seems to grow even more dense the further south you end up going as well.
Okay, good to know.
Okay, so we're gonna.
We don't like fog.
Well, no, we're gonna ditch the vehicle, or
I think we keep it with us.
I think we need to.
I think it's too far gone to leave it now.
Do we, just out of curiosity, are there like maybe little sconces on the side of the wagon?
There are ways to attach torches if
Okay,
you wanted to.
I would like to attach torches to the side of the wagon.
I can bring up my dancing lights as well. Yeah, I think here's the thing: we wouldn't have known how muddy this road was, so we would have assumed that we were bringing the wagon. So the only thing we could do now is leave it mid-trail,
Yeah.
or and I don't think we should do that. So essentially, we have the wagon with us. We can't really make that sort of metagaming choice to leave it behind.
It's more so that you could turn around and drop it off and have lost the morning and.
Well, I don't
that
think we
kind of
should
thing.
be out here any longer than we need to be.
Yeah.
Let's trudge forth.
So trudging on about another hour or so, the mud and slop under your feet is starting to get a lot thicker. Who's driving the caravan?
Wouldn't it be Hope?
I
Is
think
it
Hope
Cinnamon?
would be
Yeah.
driving Cinnamon.
Hope, I need you to make a survival check for me.
Can I
Oh,
guide
sure.
them in any way, or is this like a
Yep.
continue?
Or can I assist? I don't know.
There isn't a way to assist
Okay.
because they're the one who's doing it. So survival.
Let
This is
Eldath
very
take the
bad.
wheel.
No.
No.
Oh, that's bad.
That's
Hope
a
you're ready with some of
7?
that
It's a
carpentry
7.
you got.
So traveling on for about another hour or so, you manage to miss a couple of scrapes where the road narrows a little bit, and you kind of feel as the wheel starts to get a little bit grinded into mud, starting to get caked pretty heavily. And then eventually the road does hit a bit of a sharp turn, and you just misnavigate it, and the whole thing just slops into the side and is completely stuck in the mud at this point.
Oh, great.
Like the whole caravan?
The whole caravan is cantilevered off to one side, stuck in the mud.
Well, shall we walk?
So much for the daddy wagon.
Well, I think we could probably try and get it free.
Hostile.
Is there any other kind of is like the whole place is bogged? There's no sand anywhere around that we could find.
You can see the only real stretch of dirt, and it's even like muddy dirt at that, is the road that you're following. At this point, it's more of a path than anything.
Well, should we leave this thing here and
Yeah, we can
deal
lock
with
it
when
up.
we
I've
get
got
back?
the.
Well, I mean, we
Got
might
the
as well
bike chain?
try and get it free.
Yeah,
Should we not?
we should probably try and free it.
Alright.
Do we have anything that can harden the road?
We have a furbolg that can lift a whole
Yeah, I was
bunch
gonna
of
say
weight.
I can lift a lot of weight.
And we
I'm
have
pretty
a-
strong too.
But the furbolg's very big.
Oof, probably won't help.
Lifting
yes.
is one part of it, but still being able to pull it out.
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
that's a
mud
good
as
point.
well is another part.
I mean, if a few of us are assisting, I don't think there's
Yeah.
any reason why we couldn't get it free.
That's a good point.
all right, you want to give it a shot?
Let's
Yeah.
work
Okay,
together.
I'm gonna do a perception check of the mud that it fell into. I want to make sure we're like wading into like
Yeah,
some
sure.
okay, lost
Make a
swamp
perception
shit.
check.
Can I help him with that?
Yeah, so you've got advantage on that, or you can roll separately. That's you.
Oh,
Oh, fuck.
okay, that's not bad.
17 plus 5 is 22.
22,
25.
25. Best you can tell, nothing around. The fog is pretty thick at this point. You can see maybe 150, 200 feet in front of you. It's getting dense.
Okay.
Cool. So
Does this feel like the fog that was in Barovia town? The town of Barovia?
Creepy
Oh,
fog.
the ones that kind of pulled you into
Yeah.
Death House? No. That one is much thicker. With this, you can kind of see wisps of things. It's eventually, though, your vision just hits a point where you can't. With the fog that pulled you into Death House, that was a wall. Like there was eventually a point where there was a little bit of fog, and then you just couldn't see anything.
Right. Does this feel like natural?
Yeah,
fog,
This
that's
feels
what I'm
like
asking.
natural, but definitely thicker.
But
There's
spookier.
just more.
Okay.
Super
It's real, but
Oh,
spooky.
Hey, so we gotta get this thing out, right? I'm gonna turn into a giant ape.
Turn into a giant ape?
Yeah, I'm
Why
gonna
not?
help leave.
All right.
Do we want to just try it with
Oh, yeah, we
Leaf
could just try it with
before
Leaf, yeah.
Before you burn a spell
wasting?
slot.
I suppose that's true.
If
We love to see you as an giant ape, but in the most opportune moments.
I appreciate that.
Can I just check to make sure that when we lift it out, that it's not just gonna get stuck in the muck again, right as we like move it
Just
forward?
forward.
There isn't really a way to check that. It's more so like this.
This looks like sticky mud.
Okay,
of the success or
can we-
fail
okay.
will determine how
Give
it
it a go.
goes.
All right.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So
Are we doing this together, or is it just him doing it?
I'll tell you how it's done.
I think that we've got in the haversack. I think we've got a couple extra like janky shields. We could always get the wheels onto the
yeah.
shields
Let's throw
because
those
that's what
bad
you do
boys
in
on
the
there.
snow.
It's also what you do in the mud.
Yeah.
Same thing, I
Let's do
assume,
it.
in the mud.
So you've got two wheels that are still on the dirt road at this point. Those ones are still, a little bit mud caked, but they at least will turn normally and they're not stuck. Two wheels are completely off to the side. The whole thing is about a 30-degree angle. So you need two people trying to lift the wagon up to get the wheels out of the mud, and then one person guiding the horses to try and pull it back onto the road. So it's up to you to decide how you want that to happen.
Animal handling that'll
It would be animal handling and two people making strength checks.
I'm pretty good with animal handling, but Cinnamon is your
Hope would have advantage because Cinnamon is
Okay.
their
What?
their
I was gonna say
Steed.
creation, but their
They're fine.
conjuration.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's up to you to decide on that.
I have a
I'm gonna cheerlead.
+5, but if you have advantage, that's probably best.
Well,
Okay, I guess I'll
Can't go
take
with
one end of the
Alright.
cart.
All right,
Let's see
so
what you
two
got,
are using
Fizzo.
Strength.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need both of you two to go ahead and make strength checks for me, and hope you get a animal handling check at advantage.
That's not great.
Yeah, it's not great either.
Well,
Yeah.
that was great.
Okay. So what are your strength checks?
11.
10.
10. So the two of you kind of you just hear a little bit of a as it begins to pull out. Hope, what was your total?
21.
21. You kind of finding the right moment. Yeah, and get Cinnamon to just move as much as possible, and you kind of pull it back in, and you get one wheel up on, but it's still not completely out of the mud. There's one that's now kind of like sagging in the back as the suspension is just really holding it
Can
down
I
there.
Can I call Wes back to help me?
Join
Or yeah,
boys.
To
Two
be
of
able
us
to make
do one.
one more try to be able to try and get it out if you want.
Alright.
So same thing applies. You two strength, and then hope.
Oh,
and-
another-
that's a
Fuck,
lot.
even worse.
It's okay, this is mine.
Is that your time to shine?
Yeah, leave.
Did you bless yourself?
I guided myself.
Oh, guided.
yourself,
Yeah.
okay, so
8.
8.
23.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clobbering.
Good enough. So with that, you pull up. Les, you kind of.
Les, you gotta lift with your legs.
Oh, I get it. Right up there.
It's more so that Les grabs the wheel, but he only grabs one side of the wheel. And whereas Leaf just lifts up the whole ass end of the daddy wagon. And
Let's
so
take the wheel.
Les, like you go to turn or to lift it, and you lift and you lift, and all of a sudden you realize you just go whoosh as the wheel just starts spinning. As Leaf
Things are
slowly
so much
lifts it off.
easier in the water. You have no idea.
Take your word on it, buddy.
With that, Hope is able to guide Cinnamon back on the road, and the wheels are caked in mud. A couple of minutes of cleaning them off to get them to the point where they can turn normally again, but you are back on the road and following along.
Should we
with the
lock
caravan.
this thing here and just take the horses in so they don't get caught?
Well, I don't think we should leave this in the
Nope.
swamp.
Yeah,
I think we
this
should at
is
least.
gonna disappear if we leave it in the
Best
swamp.
you can figure where you are with the turns on the road and the map that you've been given, you're probably about an hour and a half on foot to on slow horseback. Because at this point, on foot is basically the same as the wagon traveling. So it's up to
Why
you.
don't we go on either side of the wagon and just make sure it doesn't fall back out to the side and someone can guide it forward
I
so
can
we're
help
able
with-
to support it?
With that, I'm
If
pretty good at.
someone could help. With
I can help you guide.
guiding.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alrighty. So over the course of that next hour and a half, Hope will get you to make one more survival check at advantage.
Yeah.
Hey, 19.
19.
Hey.
Good enough. So you're able to follow along the path. It's definitely a little sketchy in a couple of places. You feel the wheels start to go, but with Les and Hope and leaf on both sides, kind of shunting it back onto the road when they feel it start to slip off. You do eventually make your way further down, and you catch your first glimpses of the village. Scattered throughout the marsh are old peasant cottages.
Okay.
Walls covered with black mildew. Roofs mostly caved in. Decrepit dwellings that seem to almost hunker down in the mire.
It's a real fixer-upper.
Yeah, fully succumbing to the thick mud. Everywhere you look, black clouds of flies dart about, hungry for whatever food is available nearby.
I've always wanted to visit Trump Tower.
$2 million in the West End for this.
Yeah. Making your way a little bit further down as well, the Luna River on your left is at its widest point here, over 300 feet across the bank to the opposite side, but not as deep as you expect. You kind of see little bits of wave crash almost, and you would imagine it's probably only 8, maybe 10 feet deep. But you do notice as well that the fog on the opposite side of the river seems to be a fair bit thinner than where you currently stand. It seems to thin as it goes out over the water.
Luna River's big.
Does it look like it's fordable? Like I know that rivers, both my outdoors knowledge and Luis tell me that rivers are easier to cross when they're wider because they're not so, the current isn't so concentrated.
Yeah, and it's definitely true.
wanted to
It is
cross here.
fordable. It is 10 feet deep-ish as best you can see here. There would potentially be a crossing point, but currently you don't know exactly where that would be.
There's no bridges or anything either?
Not that you can see. You can only see at this point about 200, 300 feet in front of you on either side. The only exception being the way across the river. The fog thins substantially. You're probably able to get 500, 600 feet out on the other side. You do notice as well, on the other side, far bank, at some point fairly further down, is a dark ring of standing stones.
That's probably fine.
And peering through the fog for a few moments, you see a small light source flashing amongst them.
Standing stones like those
Any
megaliths.
like
Similar to the megaliths, but dark black in comparison to kind of like a lighter gray, and looks more like carved stone in comparison to the megaliths being natural foundation stone that were just kind of placed.
Can I have Rick go invisible and like try and get a bird's eye on it?
Yeah, of course. So Rick going invisible, he does pass beyond its 100 feet, right? Telepathic?
Yes, yeah.
So he does pass beyond your telepathic range.
I just need him to pop there, pop back.
Yep. On the other side, you see a dozen moss-covered standing stones form a near-perfect circle in the spongy earth. The weathered stones range in height from 15 to 18 feet. A couple of them lean inward as if to share some great secret with their inscrutable neighbors.
yes, Jordy.
Yeah. The light source, a wary-looking peasant woman, lurks behind the tallest stone, a rusty lantern clutched in one gnarled hand and a dagger clutched in the other.
When Rick was there, did he get a look at her? Like how she?
She looks overall pretty ordinary.
Okay.
Kind of tattered-ish hair. One thing as well, go ahead and just make an intelligence check for Rick.
Oh boy. Wow! Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Rick's soul is like quantum theory.
Her cloak looks oddly similar to some that you've seen before. Very similar to the ones that you saw the people in the rain wearing at the Wizard of Wines winery of the Mardukov family.
This could be like a friend.
And very similar as well to some of the ones that you've seen a few of the people sitting in the Blue Water Inn also wearing.
Oh, secret society.
Okay, wait. It's okay. So
That was a huge intelligence check.
you
So you
Way
would surmise from the description of the cloak, there's a pretty good chance she's either a keeper of the feather or
killed someone.
has killed someone that was.
Let's find the fuck out.
Leaf, one of your friends is over there.
Okay.
Is Rick back now?
Oh yeah, Rick
Yeah,
popped
okay.
there back.
Can we send him to summon her, to talk to her, tell her to come?
Do we really want to send a tiny
Is
demon to
there
go approach
the
them?
flashing of the lantern? Is it Morse code or any sort of code?
No, it's
Is
just it seems to just be her walking between the stones, kind of just keeping an eye out.
Oh.
It's just it seemed like a flashing because of the distance between the stones.
okay.
You were kind of seeing like stone on the far side, stone short
Yeah.
side, so you were getting that little bit of a
Yeah,
glint.
yeah.
If one of you wants to approach her, I can come from the flank side and get her from the back.
Sorry, how far across is the river? How
About
far away?
300 feet.
Okay, so I can't send it all that way, but I'll send my dancing lights kind of farther out, and so it dance in the water, and then draw them back. So if maybe I can try to get her attention since
Okay.
we can see her light.
Fool,
And
make
you,
it
do you
look that
combine
way
them into a
in
single large light source?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I do that.
What's your spell save DC?
That's my wisdom, right?
Yeah, it's it'll be 8 plus your proficiency plus wisdom.
8 proficiency, wisdom.
So I think it's 11 plus wisdom.
Yeah, so that's going to be 15.
15? Okay. She kind of like, you notice as well, the rest of you seeing the large glob of light make its way out over the river, and it just starts kind of pulsing light a little bit. There does seem to be a little bit of slow movement of the lantern, and then all of a sudden it gets snuffed out. She probably noticed it, but doesn't have any idea what it is.
Okay.
Should we?
Yeah, let's.
Jog up to her.
Yeah. Do you wanna shout out in Crow?
Good idea.
Do we wanna engage this? Think she's friendly?
I mean, if she's not, we'll fuck her up.
That's true.
Cool.
Easiest convincing.
So kind of within the group, I'll call out. We're friends of the keepers of the feather. We mean no harm. We're just visitors.
So it's about 400 feet to where she is.
Yeah,
Can we
screaming.
amplify this somehow?
Yeah.
Can thaumaturgy
your
do that?
voice over the sound of the water and through the mist.
We could just
Your
cross
voice
the
does
river,
not
guys. Let's
carry
cross
that.
the
I mean,
river.
it's 10 feet deep. That's the only thing.
It's 10 feet deep and it's 300 feet. It's a swim.
we
This
all
isn't
sit on
like
Do you want me to go ahead
Fordable.
of it a little bit first? Because I'm pretty good at that sort of
You
thing.
are good at swimming. That's your thing you like.
I can scout ahead a little bit.
You could take a. No, it's 300 feet. I was gonna say you could take a rope, but I don't think we
Just
have one that's
drag
that
us
long.
through.
I'm pretty fast.
Yeah, Les, why don't you go talk to this lady?
I don't think we should talk to her alone. We've already scouted ahead. I think we should all.
If anything goes wrong, I'll just go back in the water and torpedo
always
back
that
to you.
easy.
That's
Not
not like
always
you
the
did in the
case.
lake.
Hey, I saved a woman's life. Thank you.
The
very
girl's
much.
life.
Yeah, a child.
Hang on, who's got walk on water?
I can walk on water.
Oh, okay, let's do
Yeah.
that.
Can we do that for more?
Yeah, we
Some
can
of us?
Yeah,
All
we
of
can-
us.
Yeah, we can ritual cast walk on water.
That takes 10
It's
minutes
up
though.
to 8 creatures.
Yeah, it's like the whole.
How about this?
Good
You all walk on
call.
top of the water. I can be underneath it, scouting around to see if there's
Okay.
anything that comes up
Yes,
from
you
under
could
Is
it.
it,
do
is
that,
it water walk
but
or
you
water
can't
breathing?
go-
That's
Water
what
walk.
creatures-
No, I'll be underneath
Water
you. I
walk
won't
for
go ahead of
8
you.
people.
Yeah, just
But
don't
in
go
case anything's
further
coming,
I've done it before.
deeper.
no. But if in case if anything's coming from underneath, I can warn. Be like, ah!
Thank you.
Up to you, but I
Remember
think we
to
could probably
guard
just
the
keep it
house.
simple.
Okay, so guys, we've alerted this woman, and we should probably figure out what's
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
mean,
gonna-
if we use ritual cast,
Yeah,
doesn't
we
that
can
take
ritual
10 minutes
casting.
though?
Yeah, it'll take 10, but it won't use a spell slot, so.
Okay, but won't she be gone in
could
10
we
minutes time?
send a message to her with like a message spell? We know that she's there.
Does anyone have that?
You don't know who she
I don't
Can
is.
Rick go talk to her?
Yeah.
The
That's
only
what I
person who would be able to really do that would be you, because you were the only person who got like a vague description of her from Rick.
Oh,
Let's just send Rick to talk to her.
okay, sure.
I think
Yeah.
that's the best. You could just send Rick with a message and say we're friends.
I've
and
got
it's-
some paper as well. If we
Yeah,
want to write
okay,
Rick a
let's
message.
do that. I'll do that then.
Can you just polymorph into a raven?
Right,
and
because
So
then
I think
message
waiting
her
for
with
10
these
minutes
guys?
to go talk to her, she's probably going to be gone.
Yeah.
Do you want to write a message or you want to have Rick talk to her?
Use the
Can
same
Rick
pro
stay
code.
invisible?
He's
Because
also a demon.
if he
can.
Yeah.
He also, I don't think he speaks common.
Yeah,
He does speak
he does,
common.
he won't do it to us because he's a jerk.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, he doesn't like you guys.
So perhaps it's best for him to just stay invisible, but say something to her, because if he pops into view with a note, she's liable to run off screaming because he's a tiny demon.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
So if we send him invisible, he could actually say out loud to her, "Hey, my friends, they're friends with the keepers of the feather.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, let's do that.
They're across the water."
Yeah, so we'll do that.
Alrighty, so sending Rick invisible to go
Invisible
talk to her.
Rick to go talk to her.
Okay. Alright, so sends across the water. What is it you would like him to say? Because he's outside of your range.
Yeah, he's going to say, oh yeah, because I can't speak through him yet.
Nope.
Soon.
Soon.
I'm not going to do it in the voice.
Oh.
What's that? That would terrify her. I just want him to say, the lights you saw, I represent the party who sent those lights. We are friends of the keepers of the feather.
Yeah, keepers of the feather, the Marchkov family.
We're friends of the Mardukov family. We mean you no harm. We are passing through.
But if you have any information, we'd like to
Yeah,
meet with
we're,
you.
we would like to. We're here to investigate Perez.
we have to roll an intelligence check like we're playing telephone with Rick? He gets like a third of that.
No, because you gotta listen to me.
Yeah, so he has to listen to you do that. I will get you to make an intelligence check for Rick to see how much of that he can remember.
Oh boy.
But it's not hard for him to remember. It's more so the catastrophic failure of like forgetting the name of the family or like mispronouncing something. Yeah. So maybe you're just like, you want to know to be visible, right? Yeah, visible. Okay.
Yeah.
You know nothing, crow.
So go ahead and just make an intelligence check to recognize
Use this guy. That's fine.
Alright,
That is 15.
15? Easily enough. He remembers the message and passes across to the other side.
Good.
You kind of see the fog parting a little bit as the wing beats go through. He's gone for a good 5-6 minutes.
Okay.
Eventually comes back. Pops back over to your shoulder. The woman's name is Muriel Vinshaw. She's a were-raven and friend of the Mardukov family.
Okay.
A resident of Balaki.
Okay.
She spies on a hag-ish, maybe a turned human that resides in the marsh.
Oh. Is she cool with us coming to talk to her?
She is cool with you coming to talk to her if you wanted. She's essentially just there seeing if this woman leaves the area, kind of thing.
Okay. I mean, this is probably me asking questions that Rick wouldn't have thought of, but is the stone circle safe?
Oh, you can easily dispatch Rick back a couple of times if you wanted to. It's just about 5 minutes every time you want to send it across.
That's fine.
Yeah. The stone circle is safe.
Okay.
The stones are about 100 feet across from the center, so 100-foot diameter, spaced out apart at pretty regular intervals. They're located northwest, south, and east are taller than the other 8 stones, so it's just the 8 of them and then kind of the directional markers. And they have weather-worn glyphs carved into them that represent different animals. He sees in relays there are bear, elk, hawk, goat, owl, panther, raven, and wolf.
I like the sound of that panther.
Cool. I want to go look at these guys.
so yeah, I'm probably finished ritual casting now, so we can jump across.
And with all that, ritual cast is done.
Do
And
we
we can
want
take the wagon across, right?
look through any of these houses
No.
or anything before we
Wagon does
go?
not get water walked.
Do we want to look through any of the decrepit houses before
Well, they're on
we
the other
leave?
side, aren't they?
No, the houses are all on your side. You haven't actually reached the houses proper yet. They're still about 150 feet away from where you are. And you do notice as well that the road forks off to the left and the right and kind of vanishes into the fog, and you don't really know where anything is.
This woman's gonna leave if we don't go talk to her.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
should
we
go.
can always
I
come
wanna-
back.
I want to do a perception check before we just jog out into the water.
Sure. Yeah, go make a perception check.
Yeah, I want to make sure there's shit. Like,
Just looking for
Like-
general bad stuff.
general
Yeah.
bad stuff, like the bad stuff.
I'm gonna dive in the water and see if I can see anything.
Sure. Perception
Can
check for
I
you as well.
assist on that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It'll be a separate roll.
Okay, yeah, I got a 19.
Natural 20!
Yeah, you got it.
Nice.
You see nothing.
Yeah, you as best you can see, it's the fog and just the fog.
Okay, just checking. I just want to make sure we just like step in the water and like a tentacle like swamps.
I will say it's funny though because as you kind of look out, less, not realizing or remembering the water walking was cast on all of you. He kind of goes over to the edge of the water and expects to do a dive into fairly shallow water and just kind of, but his head still goes underneath, so you can look underneath, but he's just really confused that his hands are just like slapping the water
That's a good
as
bit.
if it's like hard stone.
Ow!
Get up, you big baby.
What the?
Come on.
Oh,
Have you ever seen that gif of that guy
Yeah.
diving into the frozen
Oh,
ice?
yeah.
That's basically what Les just did.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Don't
It's
like
a
that.
shattered coccyx.
It's still a
Made it
little bit
work.
turgid. It's not the easiest walk across. It does take you a little while to
Turgid
get there. But sending Rick over at full flight speed to tell her to stay there, easy enough to do, and she agrees, and he pops back to your shoulder and lets you know that she'll stay around a little longer. So,
Okay, let's head on over.
crossing over to the other side,
Yeah.
you do see the standing stones now in full view. The fog, not gone by any stretch, but definitely lessened.
I locked
You lock the wagon.
the wagon.
You take a couple of steps out, Allura goes, wait!
Runs
Runs back and locks the wagon, and
Yeah.
then follows you across.
Didn't
Well, we also
the horses have water walk and they're coming with us, don't?
Horses, do they have water walk?
I thought that we were doing
because
because 8 creatures could do it.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's do that.
Well, I can cast on the 2 and then just not cast on. Oh wait, actually, yeah,
We
two
only have
people,
2
yeah.
horses.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's
So,
the 6 of us
So it
plus
would
2
just
horses.
be the wagon abandoned with
Yeah.
nothing around it.
Yeah, locked.
Locked.
But we're taking the horses with
Okay.
us. I don't think we should leave them out in the fog with the
Yeah,
hag.
that's
and
easy.
Horses are a little skittish, and you can see them kind of like expecting to have
Can
their
I
hooves
all
pass
this
into the water.
smooth marigolds and
Yeah,
foot
make
walk
it-
and
Make
I'm
an
riding
animal
Cinnamon.
handling check for
Okay.
both
This
of
is
you.
the first time
advantage for your
Cinnamon's ran.
Yeah, Cinnamon,
Nope.
like, hardcore was such a boss.
Yeah, they've been on water
Okay.
before.
Cinnamon loves water.
2, 4.
24.
Yeah.
Nice.
Animal handling.
2 4s.
18.
18.
I just like smooth a little
Yeah.
kiss on Marigold's
Um,
nose, and
Ooh.
she's fine.
She just kind of like you just instinctively paws at the water or
face.
like hooves the water to expect the hoof to pass through, and then kind of just clops against it a little, and like takes a little bit to get her footing, but eventually is led across without any real issue and gets used to it pretty quickly. Takes you a couple minutes. Pass over to the other side, make sure that nobody falls and hurts themselves or anything. But you do come to the other side of the river, and you see this the standing stones now in full view. And you see the woman who identified herself as Muriel. She is now just standing out amongst the stones, lantern lit again, dagger at her waist, but still in view.
Hello, cloaked friend.
Hey,
Muriel, we spoke through my associate,
Your associate.
the one who was speaking to you with messages.
Oh, I assumed it was just a spell of some kind. I didn't think there was actually anything there.
Oh no, it's really him. Look.
Nothing happens.
No.
Nothing happens. Nothing
Greetings.
is happening.
You just hear less in your ear, just
Oh, fuck.
Thank you for waiting to speak to us. I know out in wildernesses like these, listening to unknown voices is not the safest thing to be doing.
I almost ran at the first sound of your voice, and I'm gonna be honest there. Yeah, well, I mean, when some invisible thing starts talking at you in the middle of a couple of standing stones,
Well,
when
you know.
that there's some kind of powerful fucking thing on the other side of that river,
Something's
I
going
kind of
on.
want to hightail it out of there.
I would have
think
done the
we
same
just-
thing.
We've
But,
just seen so many spooky things in the last few weeks that it's just all the same after a while.
So, may I assume that you're the ones who saved the winery?
That's
Yeah,
right.
that
Yeah,
is
we
us,
are.
yeah.
The wine knows, they
Dom,
call us.
Dom did mention you.
Yes. He said something about Mia Familia. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's a Fast and the Furious reference. No one caught it. That's
I
fine.
got you.
Well, he did mention that and made sure that if anybody used the vernacular that you did,
Yep.
that I should definitely be
Cars come and
interested
go,
enough
but
to stay
respect is
around.
forever.
So,
Yeah.
So, who's this hag who's out here in the swamps?
her name is, well, the name she's adopted is Baba Lysaga. Baba Lysaga, Lysaga.
Pretty sure I have that folk album.
And she's not to be trifled with. I don't know what's brought you down this way, but there's nothing in that village. I am sorry that you were seemingly told otherwise.
We just thought we'd come check it out because we'd heard it was a village there, but that,
Well, it was abandoned several centuries ago.
What's this? Sorry, go ahead.
Inside check.
Oh yeah, sheep
Muriel.
bubbles.
Yeah.
Oh, not 20, but
Not
who
20.
knows if she is telling.
Seems to be pretty honest. Yeah, like everything about the cloak that she's wearing, the demeanor that she has, the way that she carries herself, she looks like how all the other were-ravens have looked. You would imagine she is most likely one herself as well. Yeah, I'll give you that on a natural 20.
So,
You'll give me what? on
That
it?
she's most likely a were-raven. On that.
Thanks.
all there is to give.
Thanks.
But the village was abandoned several centuries ago. The river rose and flooded the village, and then when it went back down, it just nothing was left alive.
So you're keeping an eye out for Baba the Saga?
I essentially make sure that she doesn't leave the area, and if she does, I make myself a little faster and alert anybody to the fact that she's leaving. She's a little scary.
Yeah.
I was going to say this may sound a little odd, but to people who quite honestly look like you, she flies around in a skull.
Okay. That tracks.
Giant skull,
That's pretty cool,
like
not gonna lie.
a giant's skull.
Oh, okay.
That
Ooh.
levitates and she
Dope.
just kind of flies around in it. It's her fastest
She's
way.
like Bowser.
Yeah.
Is she any relation to the hags at the
Windmill?
windmill? Thank you.
there are hags at the window?
Not anymore.
No.
There were.
Oh, I had no idea.
Had you heard of the bakery?
The
Pastries?
the pastries. Yeah.
You ever have one?
They were people.
Well, I'm glad they never really made their way into Valaki's walls. We didn't really accept many things that came from further from south from the gates, outside of
Boy, do we know that.
outside of Barovia.
So,
We took care of two of them, but one of them escaped. But I'm assuming that Baba Lisaga has been in these swamps for longer than a couple of weeks.
Babali Saga has been here for centuries.
So
she predates most of the things of this land, to be honest.
So what's her deal? Like, what's she about?
Well,
Do you know much about her? I mean, you've been watching her.
I don't know much about her background. I essentially just know the stories that I've heard and what I've seen since being here.
Well, I'd be interested in those stories.
Well, the first one is when you go in, you're going to see a series of scarecrows in what look like long abandoned fields.
Okay.
Yeah, those are false images. Those are going to hurt you. Those
Okay.
are going to hurt you real
Don't
bad.
touch scarecrows. Gotcha.
Don't even get near the scarecrows.
Do not approach scarecrows.
They're gonna try and fuck you up.
Les, don't touch the
In
scarecrows.
bad ways.
Duly noted.
He's gonna touch the scarecrow.
Probably.
Yeah, she well, she's also trapped several goats in a pen near like the old mansion where the burgomaster of the village used to live.
Let me guess. Don't touch the goats.
Well, no, the goats are fine.
Oh, okay.
But I assume that she feeds on them. I mean, they're just goats as best I can
Goats
see.
are delicious.
But they're trapped inside a pen that's got about 24 human skulls topped on fence posts.
Okay.
So
Okay.
never really wanted to go in there and try and free them or anything
No, that
like
tracks.
But yeah, that's about all I know. I mean, I can barely get within the city limits for fear of being seen by her. I mean, I'm just, best I can do is turn into a raven.
Oh, we can T-Rex her. We can lure her with a goat.
Do you know what
As
kind
she
of
feeds.
abilities she
Just
has?
so
Obviously,
curious.
she's powerful if she can fly around. But
Well, she flies, so I'm assuming she's some kind of a mage. One of the odd things as well, that skull is a bit too creepy for me. We've had a few other scouts come down here, kind of trying to do my job, take a look as best they can, but a lot of them get maybe a little bit too close and they never seem to make their way out. We assume they've all just perished, unfortunately, at our hands.
You could use a flying skull.
I could love a flying skull. How long have you been watching her?
Oh, I'm in my late 40s at this point. I've been here for the better part of 3 years.
Okay.
Every once in a while, just coming down.
Does she have anything she does, like any routines, any?
Most of her time she spends inside her little hut. It's
Yeah.
about 15 feet by 15 feet, just a little square.
Okay, so a little hut.
Very, very odd though. It kind of sits on top of a whole bunch of giant tree roots, even though there's no trees around that. It's very
curious.
strange. I guess it keeps it up out of the marsh, maybe where a giant tree once used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about all I know.
You said she's been around for centuries. Yeah,
Well,
she's been around quite a
at
while.
least that long. I mean, the stories of her being in Berez, I mean, the village was flooded several centuries ago.
Yeah.
If she's been here, it long predates anybody who's still alive.
What are the stories of her in Berez?
Well, the stories of her coming into Berez, I mean, after the village was flooded,
Oh, I
that
see.
she just kind of came in and took it over as her own.
But no one's quite sure where she's from or what her deal is.
Not as best we know.
Crazy lady likes flying and a big skull loves goats.
Yeah, she's like
is
a
she
regular Bowser.
aligned with the devil? Do they have contact
Oh,
that you know of?
I don't know. I've never gotten close enough for her to be able to, for me to even hear a word she says. We figure at that point, if you can hear a thing she says and she sees you, well, you're not going to make it out of there.
Have you seen very many other people enter Berez outside of the scouts?
Just me. The
Just
scouts, really. We're the only ones who even venture this far south.
What about this place? And I just nod to the standing stones.
Oh,
What
this.
is this?
Well, the stories say that this used to be some kind of a focus for druidic magic. The druids who used to live here, but now it's just a memory to that. The druids being corrupted by Strahd or being killed off in his wake.
We've
There's
seen
not much
some of
that we can
those.
Are there other creatures around here that you've seen?
do. Not as far as I can tell. The only ones are her, those scarecrows that she seems to have under her command.
The ones we're not going to touch those.
Right, the ones to touch.
Yeah,
No
okay.
wildlife, no wolves, no birds.
No, there's no food of any real. Well, I mean, the swarms of flies would be about the only things.
Are those guys particularly militant?
Aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of like pulls up her arms, and you can see that there's like almost like mosquito stab bites.
Oh, jeez.
In her arms, and she's just like, yeah, you probably don't want to get too close to those.
Okay.
I mean, fire's pretty good against them, keeping them at bay.
I do like fire.
Yes, he does.
Okay, so are we gonna deal with?
I mean, this seems like a big bad woods witch, and we should probably.
I mean, a floating skull could be a good thing against you know who.
I mean,
I don't know. Kind of seems like she's living her best life out here. No one's really getting hurt. Like, do we really need to
she's
mess with
also
this woman?
I feel like
hundreds of years old.
she
and
could have
so is
some
Strahd.
interesting information if she chooses to
That's
share it
true.
with us.
That's kind of where I'm at. I don't think
We
she's
would
gonna
need
choose
to
to share it.
bring her some kind of offering if we
Yeah,
wanted
she'd
to.
wanna
Goats!
But I think
bargain
if
with
we
us.
do some murdering, we might be able to get some cool stuff.
Murdering?
Hey, here's a crazy question that just popped into my head.
Did you just say that we need to do some murdering and bring her an offering and then look at this woman?
Yeah!
No. I meant.
See her hand just kind of go to her belt a little bit and just look.
No.
at her a
I
little
meant
worried.
murdering Bobble the Saga.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're familiar with the winery, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So there's another there's a couple gems, right, or seeds.
Yeah, well, there were 2 gems.
Yeah.
One that was stolen that I'm guessing that was the one that you returned.
Yeah.
But the other one's been gone for several
Hundreds of
centuries.
years,
Yeah,
maybe?
a couple hundreds of years, yeah.
Like since the river flooded and Baba Lasaga came to live here?
Could have been, yeah, about that same time, maybe.
Tree
This-
roots that are growing
This
up.
might be a jump in logic here.
Yeah.
But
I
what
actually
if,
went there too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
before you
scarecrows are evil.
Yes, the scarecrows.
No, but if she
Do
lives...
it.
Yes.
And like the druids that are here are the same ones that were disrupting the winery.
Logically, it seems like that other seed might be here. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are 6 of us.
7 if we go back for Sabine.
Oh my god.
That guy's not going to help us.
Distraction, hello!
Sabine, we need you to go somewhere.
Go look at those scarecrow fields over there for a minute.
I mean, how many scouts you say disappeared in here, Muriel?
Well, in my lifetime, there have been close to 4.
Okay, see that we're more than that.
But
She'll at least be
all on their own, right?
Yeah.
Well, they always came down as singles. Essentially, all we are is individuals who monitor her
Yeah.
and make sure that if she ends up leaving, that we alert everybody as best we can.
Has she ever left?
She has on occasion, but none of us have really been able to figure out where she goes. We essentially just alert to be on guard in case she ends up appearing somewhere.
Any
I don't know. There's something going on, and I don't understand it.
It's
Oh, okay.
fine. You had to be there.
I think Amanda's just
farted.
going crazy.
No, I
And it's really bad.
That gasoline smell.
Oh,
Stings the nostrils.
There's this swamp.
I mean, theoretically, she could be going to
Swamp is
Ravenloft
smelly.
to meet with Strahd.
theoretically, she could be going.
Especially
to Ravenloft to meet
if
with
she
Strahd.
hasn't been spotted after she leaves.
And most of the trinkets we've found that have helped us along this crazy, wacky journey have come from encounters like this.
And you know what? Maybe the best trinket of all was friendship. Let's go kill an old lady.
And some
flying
scarecrows.
No, we're not touching those.
Okay,
guys.
should we do?
See?
Oh, hey, real quick, do those scarecrows move?
If you get too close to them, they sure fucking do.
Okay, but they don't like move to engage, say.
Not as far as
I
I've
don't
seen.
think we
It's
should
usually
count
when they
on
get
that.
disturbed in some way.
I see.
Muriel
so just
doesn't
kinda
really
leave
get
them
that
be.
close.
Yeah.
What's the village like? You said it's pretty ruined. Is there anything
It's
intact?
mostly ruined. The building that's most intact is what was once the Burgomaster's mansion.
Yeah.
It's on the southwest side of the town.
Okay.
You'd have to pass by a whole bunch of ruined houses to get to it.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there's the churchyard.
Okay.
It's just a little bit outside of that. There's the gardens that are attached to it, which are just overgrown
Okay.
thorns and
But
muck at this point.
Burgomaster's mansion's where she keeps her goats, is that?
Near there, yeah.
Where's her hut in relation?
Well, it's a little bit tough. She kind of like draws like a very basic map. If you can imagine like a pincer,
Done.
her hut is kind of right here. These are the 2 roads, and the Burgomaster's mansion is about here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So her hut is kind of like in the dead
Dead
center of town,
Okay.
and then the Burgomaster's mansion is a little bit further on beyond.
Won't be able to get there without going through her, probably.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean,
How long does water walking last, by the way?
Yeah.
I think it's an hour.
We have all
It's like
time.
an hour.
Yeah, so that's fine. You got some time.
Okay.
Just wanna
Anyone
make
else
sure
have any
it wasn't 10
questions? I'm
minutes.
feeling pretty satisfied with what I
Crazy hag hates scarecrows, loves goats.
Flying
The,
stuff.
is,
Flying skull.
so these monoliths that we're
Yeah, I want to look at this before we leave.
Sorry, quick question, Muriel. Does Baba Lysaga, does she have a coven, or are there a few of them, or?
Oh no, she's just by herself. If there were any more than just her, then I wouldn't even be setting foot this close.
Is she a hoarder?
I've never seen the inside of her hut. I don't know what else could be in there, but it's
Being here as long as she has, she's probably one of the oldest living entities in this plane.
I mean,
One of
it's-
two.
well, aside from the devil himself, it's possible, but her hut is quite small. It's only 15 feet by 15 feet. It's not exactly the largest thing.
It's like bigger on the inside. Anyway, not the point.
It's just a little square area.
Surprisingly spacious.
I'm not sure there'll be anything super valuable there, but
You never know.
tiny homes in Barovia.
Yeah.
Let's
a
I say we go in.
At this
Okay,
point, we
why
could really use whatever we could to do what we have to do. We're going to the Amber Temple soon to find more trinkets in there. This is here.
That makes a strong point. This is here.
let's look through the stoning stones first and then head over perhaps.
Yeah.
I
we don't have
can
that much
save you a
time.
little bit of time if you. There's nothing here. It's been several centuries since these have been used or touched in any real way beyond just as a marker that you're coming close to her territory.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because we came across some monoliths that we put them back to where they were supposed to be and things happened.
The major thing there was that there was a ritual that was in place, and you
Yeah.
cleared the ritual off. This is just the stones.
Okay. So there's no.
Jordy's telling us
There
very
is
Yeah,
nothing
there's nothing
here.
there.
Muriel, do you have like
they
a
were once a source of druidic magic. They are long expired at this point.
Okay.
Muriel, do you have like a hut or something nearby in case we find something we should let you know about?
I mean, I always carry a bedroll and a small tent with me in case I ever need to camp out. But
Okay.
beyond that, I don't have any kind of a homestead out here.
Do we maybe want to send her back to the wagon to keep an eye on it?
That would be appreciated.
Yeah.
Well, I can see your wagon's on the far side. You're probably about a good 20 minutes or so from actually hitting the crossroads where you can decide if you want to go to the south or the north inside the village. It's far enough away that I wouldn't have that much of a problem, especially if there was a lock on the door.
Funny thing about that, there is a lock on the door.
There is.
So we're gonna.
You could.
Two
Well, I
things.
saw you kind of walked across the water to get over here. I can't do that, so maybe when you carry me, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You can ride Cinnamon.
Oh, that'll work. Great.
Right.
Did you notice that she does look a little bit sad at that? She was kind of like looking forward to be carried by somebody across the water.
Maybe Leaf could just bring
Maybe
you over.
Les could do it. Les likes carrying things.
He also likes water.
He loves water.
I want to swim in it, not walk on it.
She
Well-
kind of like
Just
she kind of like
disrespect to the
looks at
elements.
Les and then like looks over at Leaf and just kind of like shyly, like coyly, just like.
Oh,
"Oh,
that's all right.
okay.
Oh,
Saw the outline of the tunic, did you?
Saw the angle of the dangle.
I'm just gonna go over here and look at a rock. You guys, Leaf, you seem like you're busy. I'm gonna
Leaf's
go
mighty
look
hog
at
was
the
the
rock.
real
some
secret.
druidic rituals over in the
well, Muriel, I'm,
Some druidic earthen rituals, yeah.
I don't get out a lot.
Standing
but
stone.
Yeah, standing stone.
This one's on you, buddy.
We
Leaf's
okay.
just
monolith
kind of, like-
isn't leaning.
Do you mind? And like kind of like
Not at all, Muriel.
essentially like jumps a little bit and you just kind of pick her up.
Yeah.
She's like maybe 130
Yeah,
pounds.
yeah,
Like she's
yeah.
just light.
Yeah.
Easily able to
Just
one arm around your shoulder
yeah.
and have her sit up there a little.
Alright, I'll just kind of jog.
She does look pretty happy.
Yeah, I'll jog.
I'm gonna walk alongside them
Yeah.
both with Cinnamon, just kind of like,
Yeah.
why the fuck did you turn down Cinnamon?
Just being a third wheel the
I'm
whole
gonna-
time. Like,
I'm just
what are
Hope
you
is
doing here?
chaperoning.
As Hope is gone, I'm just gonna put my hand on their shoulders, and be like, Hope, just let Leaf have this. Just let him live.
Okay, I know there's something there, but while they're doing this, Leaf's just gonna poke around the monolith anyway, just being like nature magic.
Sometimes a little furball
You
needs
do
to
see
grow.
that there are runes. Definitely once had some kind of magic. Long dispelled.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I know.
yeah.
So,
A couple more minutes walking back across the water. You eventually deposit Muriel outside your wagon, unlock it, let her in, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and then maybe
Relock her on the inside.
lock her
Yeah,
in
and
again.
I'll try and back the rest of the.
Yeah.
This place will be your tomb.
Yeah.
Do you take the key with you or do you leave it with her?
I think we should leave the key with her.
She's pretty
If
shy.
we don't come back in like 3 days,
She's dead.
Yeah.
She starved to death in our wagon.
Are we leaving
it with
Not a
her,
great look for
'cause
us.
She's not gonna take a
One of us
wagon anywhere without
falls.
horses, you guys.
Yeah,
I've got all my
She also
stuff
can't
on me,
unlock
so I
herself
don't
out
really
of the-
care.
yeah, she can.
That's what I mean. We can't let her
No.
just. If we don't come back, then she's locked in that wagon.
Yeah.
Like we.
But also, if like one of us accidentally drops the key in the bog,
Let's
we'll leave it with her.
Also, are we?
Don't we have a
taking
copy of this key? Is there only one copy?
No, just one.
Are we taking both the horses with us? Considering if we go near the scarecrows, things like.
We're not gonna- just-
Marigold's
Let's leave one
not
with her.
the safest.
Yeah, let's leave
to
Marigold.
be-
Leave
Although I'll
Marigold.
be sad to leave Marigold, but yes.
Are you putting Marigold in the wagon with
You
her?
can't put Marigold in the wagon. She's not gonna
Oh my God,
fit.
Yeah,
It's
Marigold
just
would
a
just be
horse.
essentially hitched up loose to the wagon,
Yeah.
so she'd be able to wander around and be able to rest a bit.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's doable.
Yeah.
I'll leave a little. I'll
yeah.
give her a
I'm like,
cube
does
of sugar.
Cinnamon
Wait,
stay
can we
with her
all
to
walk
protect
back?
her, or should Cinnamon
No,
just
no,
I
come
mean,
with us?
honestly, at this point, I think we
Just
should probably be
leave them.
stealthy, so perhaps we do leave the horses.
Yeah, that's not a bad
God.
idea.
Yeah. I'm not tying Cinnamon up though.
No.
And I just kind of
You could also.
Cinnamon
charge
is also
into
smart
battle.
enough with the telepathic connection that you have that they know not to do anything stupid.
yeah.
Perhaps
there
you could
do.
tell them if something dangerous happens to take Marigold and flee.
Marigold
to-
would probably need to be tied up, otherwise they would kind of just wander. Whereas Cinnamon is smart enough to know not to.
Smart horse.
Just is Cinnamon smart enough to like chew through the rope that's whole. No, I'm not fitting into this.
But
I'm
are they
sorry.
smart enough to fifth grader?
Good
Oh!
question.
So,
I mean,
leaving
Jeff
both
wants
horses?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, so making your way further along the road, you eventually come
That's what I
upon
do
two
best.
paths. One straight ahead, leading to what seems to be a cluster of ruined cottages, and one branching off to the right that disappears into the fog as the road kind of vanishes a little bit.
Sorry, and she told us the one that leads to the village is where the
So both of them lead to the village, they just lead
Okay.
to different parts of it. The southern one will take you direct to the Burgomaster's mansion, and her hut, Babalasaga's hut, is kind of halfway between both. So you could take either one to get there.
I'm gonna-
Did she tell us which road the scarecrows are on?
I've also got a cool thing on the stream where if we're loaded up on the stream, I'm going to put up maps of what the current thing that we can see is.
maps.
I'm gonna turn to the group and say, did anyone else think it's funny that I had to carry Muriel, but she can turn into a raven?
Leaf, hey, you know what? Sometimes.
Don't ruffle her feathers,
You know what?
Leaf.
We'll talk about this on the way back.
Okay.
Birds and the bees.
That tunic is working for
I'm glad you got that.
Birds
Yeah.
and leaves.
Just a note that once I figured we would get close enough to
Birds
the
and the
for
bulls.
perception for a generous amount of
Battle
her
of the
perception
bulls, right.
field, I would cast pass no
Suppose so.
trace. So
Okay.
I don't want it
Just
to like
nice.
get too close without me doing that.
Yeah, all good. So at this point, you've got the two paths in front of you. You can either go to the left or off to the right. One pass without trace is active, so are we actively trying to be stealthy?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I'll get everybody to go and roll stealth checks for me, please.
It's
Baba Yaga.
Plus 10, y'all.
Plus 10.
Plus 10.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yes.
Cool.
Are we still? Am I still at disadvantage in the half plate armor?
Yeah.
fuck.
Nice try.
I figured I'd check.
Yeah.
You got
It's good
plus
to try.
10 though.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, that's
Plus 10 plus your stealth.
Okay,
Alright.
got it.
25.
25.
27.
27.
28.
Me.
22.
22.
Hey.
29.
29. Alright. Relatively stealthy. Your feet kind of sloshing in the mud a little bit. But there is still a road-ish, kind of more of dirt path at this point to be able to follow. So are you heading to the south or are you heading to the north?
I think the south because we go past the Burger's Master's mansion. Should
Wait,
we-
but should we check out those other houses first?
I don't think it sounds like
It
there's much of
sounds
anything
she's
there.
Muriel seemed to say that the town's pretty fucking deserted and nothing
Yeah.
was
It's
of recognition
also-
except for the Burgomaster.
It was flooded,
mansion.
Let's
so
not waste the element of surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fair point.
Alrighty. So taking the south route?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So,
I'll
on the
trust
south
Leaf.
route, Alrighty. A single main dirt road, now more of a trail, runs between the decrepit dwellings present here, each separated by low stone walls. The road seems to have remained somewhat intact amongst the sludge and marsh on either side. 4 houses lie to the left of the path, while 2 more have fallen apart completely to the right. You do notice as well 2 scarecrows wearing mud-caked shirts and stuffed with raven feathers,
Les, don't
standing
do
in
it.
what may have once been crop fields.
Don't you do it, Les.
Weren't we supposed to say hi to these
We were
things?
supposed to not touch
Can
them.
I just like take Les's arm and
Yeah,
just
we
kind
just,
of
like,
pull him towards
Frog
me?
march him past the scarecrows.
Leaf produces a hilariously large cane and pulls him.
Raven feathers, you suppose that means that these are dead members of the Keepers of the Feather.
Well, we were also told that these were illusions, so these could just look however she wants them to look.
Not illusions.
Oh.
They're animated. So that if you get too close, they attack.
So we give them a
It's
wider.
essentially a false appearance.
Yeah, false
okay.
images was what.
False image.
Right.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's just keep on keeping on.
All right.
Swerve around.
So, following along, looking to the right from the end of this path, in stark comparison to the ruined stone buildings, you see a ramshackle wooden hut built on top of a stump of what was once an enormous tree. The rotting roots of the stump thrust up from the mire like the legs of a giant spider. Towards the south end of the village, on your left, lie the remains of a mansion built on higher ground, but has long since been reduced to piles of stone and rotting timber.
Should we check out the thing?
You want to check out the hut or the mansion
I think we
first?
check out the mansion first, because she's probably in the hut.
I say we take her on.
I
Use
say
the
we
element-
just do
element
it
of
first.
surprise. Once
Yeah.
we've dispatched her, then we
Go
can
check out the
explore.
mansion.
I'm in that.
All right.
Yeah, straight to the hut.
Stealthily.
Real
What's our
quick.
plan?
Okay,
Oh.
well, if
Get her!
guys, if we might,
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Light the hut on
I
fire.
wouldn't mind. Actually,
I know.
Fireball. Fireball.
I wouldn't mind having Rick just pop and see if he can look in the window. Not like perch on the window.
I don't
want
know.
to
If
get
she's
that
an
close.
ancient creature, she might be
Yeah.
able to perceive him even invisible.
We get the cool flashback to Rick doing this to the last hag.
Oh yeah, she saw him
Yeah.
the last tag, and she.
Well,
And they seem like they're not even as powerful as this one
Yeah.
is.
I'm gonna hang back and y'all do. I'm gonna be with the party, of course, but I'm hanging.
You stay here, squishy, squishy.
So the
we'll
last
be right
hags
back.
we faced down, they were susceptible only to magical weapons
I think we're
and
fine.
silvered weapons. Was that right? I think it was silvered as well.
Yeah.
Like I think my silver short sword did a better job.
Yeah, that one that
I can't
Hope
remember.
murdered with
Can
the
we-
morning star.
Would we
didn't we?
remember? Did silver weapons do?
I think we only remember if we remember it in game.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know. Okay, fair enough.
I think that we.
Yeah.
I think that is true. I can look.
I couldn't
Hang on.
remember if we could do like a checker or some sort of shit.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You do notice as well that she kind of used the term hag, but
It's not necessary.
it's
Right.
not necessarily
night
that
hags.
she
She
is
also
a hag.
said the words mage
Yeah.
as well.
Babali Saga.
Do I remember? Is there like any legends of anyone who's similar to Babali Saga that I would know of? Like it sounds like she's kind of.
Yaga.
I know I'm kind of thinking that IRL. I'm thinking that, but
Okay.
Aleth is trying
Okay.
to remember it in a way that parses what Kaylee
The
knows.
boogeyman.
Make your
Yeah.
choice of a religion or history check.
They are both
Can I
terrible. So
Also
alrighty.
make-
No, this is specifically Aleth. This is your general knowledge.
Can
Would my
I
brain get a
also
cold
try to
hag at all?
remember something?
A trap.
11.
11. Nothing really that strikes your memory specifically, but
That's worth
You
trying.
missed that classic
yeah,
route.
nothing really. That,
Meso
I'm from a trading city. Like there's lots of crazy stuff that passes through.
yeah.
The legend of
Underdark.
crazy old lady that
like
lives
the
in
capital.
crazy
of-
village.
No, but I am from like
Transylvania.
a trading hub.
Cool.
So,
Can't wait
what's
to
the
explore
plan?
Rich backstory.
All right, someone
It's gonna be great.
make the call.
We better-
Yeah, our
I
plan.
wanted to spy, but you
Well,
know.
I
you
mean,
can also
I
do a
think that
murder.
it's just dangerous. If we're gonna get the element of surprise off on her, sending Rick first is probably not the way to do it. I think we probably just.
We did.
Wait, are there any goats around?
From where you are now,
We're actually in the pen right now. Oh.
Or didn't you say there was like a pen of goats near?
there is a pen of goats. You don't know exactly where it is.
We can't
from
see it
where
from
you
here?
currently are, you can't see it.
All right. Well,
Do
if we get
we-
closer, I want to keep my eye out for a pen of goats because we can let one of them loose,
Okay.
and I might be able to.
Do we
You
do
know.
we want to try to draw her out, or do we want to go into the hut?
I don't
The
think we
hut
should go
is
into the hut.
small. We want like it's too close quarters.
We
It's
know she
her-
flies.
And it's her battleground. She'll have things that she can do in the hut. I think we should draw her out.
Goats.
Even
So,
if she
like,
can fly, it's
goats,
still
goats,
probably
goats.
better.
With an illusion, maybe.
Illusion
minor
of a goat.
one, one might say.
Or setting
I'm gonna
the
say it
hut
again.
on
Let's
fire.
set
On
the hut
fire?
on fire.
On fire. Let's
Setting
let's
the hut
fight
on
her.
Well,
fire.
that's definitely one way to make an enemy straight off. We don't actually.
It seems like every person that's come in here has met some sort of unfortunate.
I don't think we can
actions.
assume that she
I
can
don't
be
think
reasoned
she's
with.
friends.
Most of the people on this plane aren't even real anyway.
That's actually a really good point.
They're all dead already.
Yes, so it doesn't
Just
matter.
spirits walking around. Let's send her off to a better place.
It doesn't matter if we dead them even more.
Exactly. Get them out of the hotel, boring vampire land.
Oh, stop stealing my business ideas. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do the thing. Whoever wants to do it, do it. I'm not pulling the
I've
trigger.
always
So
wanted
at
to
this
talk
point,
to you
you're
about
probably
water
about 200 feet or so. Like the hut is just on the edge of your.
For the record, we are very quietly, or we have discussed this before. We would have discussed this before we rolled up to be like right outside her hut. Like
Yeah, we wouldn't be
Yeah,
like.
well, this is where
Yeah.
you can see her hut. You're all stealth, and you all kind of cluster around a little bit
Yeah.
and have the conversation
And
before
then
moving.
she hilariously leans behind.
Yeah. She comes up.
What are we
with
talking
friends.
about, you guys?
Yeah. Hi,
And
neighbors.
it's a Scooby-Doo chase scene. I'm actually picturing Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
Oh yeah, that one. Oof.
How about
Um,
we position ourselves in a way where we're going behind the hut and going forward rather than just going straight on?
I feel like as soon as we enter eyesight of the hut, she will have seen us.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
You don't get to be hundreds of years out without being perceptive.
It's like that Facebook guy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
The
Christ.
android, you mean?
So,
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, Dr. Annie said didn't want to pull the trigger, but I can't light her hut on fire.
Yeah.
So, although, I mean, I guess we maybe don't want to have it completely burned down. There might be
I
things
feel
in
like
it. But
That's the thing, is there could be stuff in there we want.
Well, there's that, but also I feel she's probably going to be able to dispel whatever.
Also, yes, we're dealing with an ancient
So we
fucking
need to-
witch.
You know, we need to present some sort of, like, if we're going to, you know, kill a goat or do something, like, it needs to be
Make a
something that
noise
we're actually
like
doing.
a goat.
I can do that with
Throw it.
thaumaturgy.
Throw it off in the distance, lure her out, and see if she's even there. Maybe she's not even there.
Okay.
I thought it...
You know
why
what?
don't we just light her,
Fuck it,
light her
let's
shit
do
on
that.
fire? Let's just light
what's
it on
the
fire.
range of thaumaturgy?
I was going to use minor illusion.
Minor illusion.
Oh.
Minor illusion is
It's either
auditory
a
or
sound or of image.
Okay. So what's the range on it?
Where is you? Oh fuck yeah, 30 feet. I gotta get closer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Wanna do that.
30 feet as well. Yeah.
It's usually designed for stuff in a room.
Hecko.
Well, shall we just walk
How
up and if
about
something
let
happens?
me get close to the hut? I can get on top of it, and then if she's walking out and like checking a noise, I can just
I gotta
fucking
be honest.
grab her.
I love this idea. That's a fun bit.
It seems the most straightforward, and I think that might
I'll
be the
grab her
solution.
and stab the immovable rod in her foot, and then she can't fly anywhere.
You know what? I can't.
That's
do
also-
that.
Actually, not that bad, Les.
Plus,
I'm impressed.
Battled a few fucking legendary creatures in my time.
You know what? Let's do
The,
it.
the only thing with that I'll just say is that from a sheer standpoint is the immovable rod has one button side, like a round knob side, and the other side is like a fairly substantial, you know, it like tapers like one of the things like a doorstop, right? So there isn't really a way to.
She'll just
But
stab
once
that
I
into
once
her
I
foot.
like if I put pressure on it, like say if this was the
No,
rod,
this is not
She's
That
just
was
good.
gonna
like,
slide her
forcefully
foot
down,
out
click.
from the side of it.
No, it's the click is on the other side.
Crazy
no, the
thought,
click
guys.
is on the
small
ball
side.
side. Is on the small side.
Yeah.
He's saying to use it like a panini press and like
Yeah.
Yeah, but
force
she's
her
just
arm
gonna
down and
move
hold
her
it.
fucking
Oh yeah. No,
Hey.
you just like.
What if?
I mean, it'll still
Why
keep
wouldn't
her
that work?
flying thing covered.
it stays in place.
Hey,
What if
we
that
can
if
certainly
we do
try.
it on the hut?
Well, it'll
'Cause,
probably
like,
just like
It's
rip
not the hut
out.
that flies,
Oh,
it's a
that's
giant
right.
skull.
Yeah, fuck, right, the skull thing.
And again,
You know what? Let's just fucking do this. Let's go start a fire.
I was gonna say I don't think
I'm
any
getting
plan,
tired.
we,
We're
co-
gonna
any
start
plan
the
we come up
fire.
with is gonna fucking fall apart. So
I
let's
mean,
just
I don't want to do it because
I stealth
I
forward
have-
towards the hut.
Well, there we go. It's happening.
All right. So given the amount of time that it's taken for you guys to get to this point, I'll go and get everybody to reroll stuff for me. You still have your plus 10 advantage. Or sorry, plus 10
Oh fuck.
bonus.
damn it.
27.
15.
19.
20.
26.
26 also.
26 also. Okay. Relatively quiet still, as best you can. Kind of footsteps sloshing through the mud. You do get a little bit closer. You're about 150 feet out. 100 feet out at this point. Anybody doing anything?
I'm gonna keep stealthily going like towards around the hut.
If we
To the back
were
of
gonna
it.
set fire, I could do firebolt.
If we were going to do any blessing of people,
Oh,
now
boy.
would be the time, I think.
It lasts for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
We wanna-
If we were setting fire, I can do firebolt. Otherwise, I can kind of die.
That was not really.
I have nothing.
I thought Berez was gonna be a fucking fun town.
Full of carnivals.
Here we are.
Full of wine moms.
I know.
Put yourself on top of that.
He is the wine mom. We don't know if she's a.
So we'll use this just because I don't really have a mini for it. This is kind of you can imagine those the tree roots, and then her hut is kind of on top of that.
Her hut's going to come to life and eat us.
There we go.
That's kind of my.
And so you guys will be coming in from this side, which is the better part of 150 feet. So wherever you want to position yourselves there.
behind.
You mind if you hack me in the back?
Yeah. Les and I can be up front.
Point.
Sounds about right.
Well, so you're the point man on this.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
This is your plan.
It
This
sure
is
is.
a great idea.
And it can't fail.
Never.
Just remember, if what is it? Parasite taught me anything.
I've got a new character already. It's fine.
Is it a bard?
Yep. It
Giles
is.
Montgomery back again.
That's right. He never left. It was all a ruse.
So you
He's
can
working
imagine
for
there
Strahd.
that her hut is kind of the top of that. It's about 10 feet off the ground because it kind of comes out of this giant tree stump. And it's just
Oh, boy.
situated on the top of that stump. So
This is
you guys are about 150 feet out at this point. About 120 is the edge of the map. So anybody wanted to do anything at this distance?
Going around the. I'm trying to get behind it.
So you don't see a door at the
I
moment.
will.
So you don't really know what behind it
aside.
is.
Well, I'm gonna get closer to it to see if I can get behind it.
So
Turns out we were
in what
actually
direction are you
behind
going?
the
I'm gonna go this general direction,
Oh my gosh.
like this arc.
The real behind was the friends
Should we
who
split
made it.
up?
No,
No.
I mean,
Well,
we're not really split
like-
up.
we're not really split up. We're just gonna be like kind of.
Spread out
yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
more,
No, I
so
know,
that
but
if she comes out and
I
she
got
does fireball at us, we're not all down in
That's
one.
okay.
fair enough.
Speed is 30, 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, don't worry about speed or anything like that right now. This is more so just positioning yourselves. You're not in combat per se.
Right.
This is just to give you a visual of what you're looking at.
So do we want to spread out, you guys?
So we can just go as far as you want.
Yeah, you can basically go to wherever you want.
Basically,
It's a
like-
matter of how far away from the hut you want to be. That's the big question,
I feel like
Right.
we're.
right? So we'll assume that everybody stays at about the same distance away from the hut, unless one
Yeah.
specific person wants.
So we're
to
just
be
coming
closer.
in on in like a concentric.
Yeah, so you're kind of coming in as a group and then fanning out
Yeah.
to be about the same distance away from the hut.
Yeah.
kind of.
That looks about right.
Yeah, with less well in advance.
That tracks.
Ready?
Stop
Mm.
moving me.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I thought,
Like,
like,
stop!
we're moving in. I don't know.
Alrighty, so Les, coming around that side, you do see that in front of you is nothing, but as you kind of poke around just the other side, the opposite side of the hut from where you walked in, as if you would come in from the north side,
Yeah.
that's where you see, is visible on that side, is an open door going inward, and a very, very small amount of light coming out from inside the door.
I start doing signal moves from my training in the Triton Army and just trying to
That
tell people
no
there's
one
a
else
door.
shares.
I
No.
whispered.
Is he saying like really
He's been
like
hit by
weird
a
stuff in
spell
thieves'
already.
camp? Because
Not in Thieves' Camp.
Target.
no, but like accidentally.
I'll get you two, given your backgrounds, to roll general intelligence checks. See if you understand what he's trying to indicate.
Leaf genuinely thinks he's been like possessed at this point.
Just general intelligence.
Yep.
6.
6,
5.
5.
Nope.
Les is
Is that
spazzing
probably
out.
a Caesar?
Something's up. Something's up. But Les, you do also see beneath the open door with the light spilling out, you just catch a bit of a glimpse of an upside down, hollowed out giant skull.
Oh, that's
Given your experience, it's about the same size as a giant shark, giant crocodile skull. So definitely some kind of giant creature, but very humanoid. Could even be an actual giant
Okay.
skull. Floating.
That's what I assumed.
Perfectly level, upside down, just a few inches off the ground. And it looks picked clean, like the bone is almost
I
pristine.
want it. I want to be Bowser.
Yo, we're mounting that thing on the wagon.
One thing as well is you see, because you're kind of looking at the door from the side, you do see that beside the door a little bit closer to you. Yeah, but upside down.
I mean, I don't know if that's gonna.
Beside the door, flanking the hut's doorway on your side, you see a black iron cage that dangles like a hideous ornament from the eaves of the hut. And scores of ravens are locked in each one to the point that there's barely enough room for them to move, squawking and fluttering their
Well, it's
wings.
a good thing we didn't set it on fire.
It is a good thing.
Just capture scouts.
It's not too late to leave. Just kidding.
And leave all the ravens there. I don't think
All the
so.
people.
So,
Yeah.
as best you can tell at this
Same
point,
note.
nothing is moving. There's a little bit of flickering light coming from the inside. You
So,
mentioned from a
are we,
candle
is
or a
this
torch of some
this is a
kind.
forest, right?
Nope.
No.
It is
Is
a
it
wide
clearing?
Bog.
open marsh.
Okay,
It's just
well,
bog.
I'm gonna stealthily get closer.
Okay, go and roll.
Wait,
stealth
are you
check.
like in enough water that you can just hit the deck and just like slither along?
It's still muddy,
Monsters,
right?
It's all mud. Like you could and like coat yourself in mud. But
With
that's
pass
about it.
trace?
Yeah.
21.
21. Okay. So yeah, sliding
I
your
guess
way
I
a little
could
bit
just put this
closer in
one
front of the
there.
building. The further you get over, you do notice that there is also a second cage on the other side of the door that's also filled with ravens. So they're
So outside
Right, she
of the
is a
hut,
hoarder.
So you're looking at the door. There's 2 cages of ravens right here, and the big skull in front of it, just kind of floating off the
and the door is open.
door is open and a little bit of light flickering.
And as
out.
I look in, as I kind of like trying to peer inside, can I see anything
Make
in
a
there?
perception check.
You
What did I
see,
miss?
There's a second cage of
more
ravens.
ravens.
Perception.
Yep.
That is a 22.
22.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
From that distance, you're looking uphill, so it's a little bit tough to gauge everything unless you were to climb the roots. But you're able to see a little bit. The hut is about the size that Muriel described, about 15 foot square. It's packed with old furniture. You see a lot of it is a little bit below where your eye level is, but you do see there's a wooden cabinet, a wardrobe, and then you also notice as well that there's a chair and what looks like maybe, you know what, make an intelligence check for me, see if you know what this is.
It's the chair from Burn After Reading.
Nat 1.
Natural 1.
Wow.
You're
It's a
not
chair.
quite
No
sure what it
fucking
is, but there is definitely a chair, and you notice that there seems to be some kind of a figure sitting on the chair that looks like it's wearing robes, maybe down to half sleeve, maybe 3/4 sleeve, and green everywhere. Green tinged
So
skin.
there's a person in there.
There's a person that's kind of like leaning over whatever this thing is. You can't quite see
Right.
what it is. You don't quite know what it is, but you look like a hand is kind of reaching over the top, and kind of like fingers are dancing a little bit. The thing that really catches your attention though is that you're looking at this person from the back, and the head is grossly elongated. Like you would almost think that they're wearing a giant hat.
Ooh, hats.
You just can't really tell. All you can see is the cascading green and black hair.
Hello, humans.
So the rest of the party can't see me anymore at this point, right?
They can see you. They can't see any of what you're seeing.
I'm gonna try best I can to hang signal them. Like,
Conehead.
Can I? Okay, Jordy.
Yeah.
In reaction to Dancing Boy over here, can I have Rick pop up to his shoulder and just try and kind of like peek up and take a look?
Sure. So Rick able to fly up a little bit. Go make a stealth check for Rick. He is also passed without trace.
Yeah,
Rickaroo.
I would
Ricky
have
boy.
oh, what's going on?
He would have been on your shoulder when it was cast, so that makes sense.
Oh, that's fine. 27.
27.
At this point, I have my bow out, and I'm ready to, if anything like spooky pops out of the hut, I'm ready to like pew pew.
This is gonna be fun.
So Rick getting up a little bit higher, being invisible, definitely helping in this case. Looking in the middle of the room, you see, because you can actually. Sorry, do you want to be in Rick's eyes, or do you want him to relay telepathically?
I'm gonna be in his eyes.
In his eyes. Okay.
Yeah.
So you see, in the middle of this room is a ghastly wooden crib with a small angelic child laying down in it, facing up. Beside the crib is a seated woman facing away from you. Her skin and clothes are all tinged the shade of green moss, and her elongated fingers dance above the child's face as if playing a game with the child.
Is he a real kid?
At this distance, you're not sure. All the furnishings except for the crib are bolted to the floor with iron facets. You see that there is a wooden cot, a wicker cabinet, slender wooden wardrobe, a wooden table, stool, barrel-top chest, but it also reinforced with brass bands, and an iron tub in the far side of the room stained with blood.
Are they close to the skull?
Beneath the crib, green light seeps up through the cracks between the rotting floorboards, highlighting the woman with its glow.
Are they close to the floating skull?
You don't know.
But I saw inside. You said I could see the floating
The skull is outside the building entirely.
I want to steal the skull.
Les, I don't think
The skull is 3 times the size of you.
Yeah.
You could jump into it. You can tell that it's been hollowed out, but there is no way for you to be able to move the skull.
I want to hide in the skull.
You want to hide in the skull?
The skull is gonna.
I'm gonna pop Rick back to me.
All right. So with
And I'm
that,
gonna relay that to
all right.
everyone
So
around.
you being close enough and you being able to kind of send Rick out to different ways to dispatch the information to everybody,
Okay.
you all get that same information. There appears to be some kind of a wooden crib, a pristine child in the crib. And the fingers kind of dancing over the top of the face, and the kid smiling, seemingly.
Can I take my rope?
Yeah.
And like wrap it around the skull and tie it to the immovable rod and stick it in the ground.
It's like
Or
on
just
her
put the
porch.
movable
She's gonna see you
rod
as
Okay.
soon as you go
on
up.
top of
So
it.
She's busy with
the
the kid.
skull is 15 feet across and 15 feet high.
Damn. Okay.
You could do that, but it would take you like some substantial climbing, knotting. You'd have to wrap it multiple times in multiple ways.
I'm on
Like,
top. Move the rod on in the hollowed out bit.
That's also a smart.
Like,
All right, I'm
you
gonna get-
can't-
the eyes are hollowed out, so you'd be able to like stick the rod inside that, or like try and tie it through the eyes. But again, it's kind of awkward, like throwing it around there. It wouldn't be something you could do.
Also,
stealthily.
the rope.
No, but I
and
would
grip
have.
is way
Okay,
better.
I'm gonna hop into the skull and
The
just
skull is also 10 feet outside the door.
I love this.
be stealth.
Or just put it in the eye
Okay.
sockets, bro. Put it in the eye sockets and just click the thing.
It's your thing. What are you
No,
doing?
But if it's in the eye socket,
what are you
it
doing?
can't.
It's
It can't
less.
fly
It's
out.
your thing. What are you doing?
That's kind of the.
No, it can't. It could just like move. If it's in the eye socket, just go. It would stay there.
It's all.
It would have to
You
go
know what?
up.
It's
Plus,
on you.
it's your
It's up to
thing.
you.
What are you doing? It's floating about 3 inches off the ground,
I'm nervous.
perfectly stable, just kind of a little bit of shifting side to side.
All right.
So excited.
So
Is the rod as big as the
the rod
eye
is
socket?
about this long.
As excited as Jesse.
Like, how big is the eye socket?
The eye socket is about that big.
So I wouldn't be able to fit in the eye socket.
Not sideways, but you could put it in, just like, like putting a pencil through a hole.
Right. All
I
right.
dug down a hallway.
Yeah. No, it's like literally. Imagine putting a pencil through like a hole about that big. You can't put it in this way, but you can put
So
it
if
in
it
that way.
flew up, it would get stuck. But if it flew to the side, it would just go. Just come out of it.
So, what are you doing?
She just kind of looks at us like, "Fuck are you doing out there?"
Well, she doesn't notice me at all. I'm gonna keep stealthily getting closer to the skull.
I will say the ravens have started squawking pretty substantially.
Oh, they're like freaking out.
Not freaking out, but they seem to be almost like excitedly squawking at you, and kind of like seem to be flapping as if they're trying to get out towards you, kind of thing. But she doesn't seem to be paying any attention at all.
Could you free those guys?
I mean, I could, but then that would probably definitely alert her that I'm here.
Does anyone have any unlocking?
But you guys
things?
aren't around me.
Yep. You
No.
all know that there's ravens. You know that she's inside
guess,
with the
like-
kid. Green glow coming up from the floorboards and a bunch of stuff bolted to the floor.
The kid looked like it was moving.
Yeah, kid's moving in a couple of different ways. Smile on its face, like a radiant glow almost coming off the body.
I kind of want to just be staying like as low and as like kind of stealth as I can in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be just waiting.
I see Les doing this. I'm like, something's about to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm.
Les, you're right outside.
I'm gonna kind of head towards Les as.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna put the immovable rod in the try to fit in the eye skull.
So you kind of like grab it from the side and like shove your arm through that hole and then turn it. Do you want to turn it on its side
Yeah.
and click it?
So
okay.
so if it flies, it can't go anywhere.
Okay. All right. So you turn the rod to its side and you click it there. What's the rod's thing again? It's up to 500 pounds or 5,000 pounds.
5,000.
5,000. Yeah.
5,000. Okay. All right. So you click the rod inside. You've removed it from your grasp, and your hand has been withdrawn from inside the skull socket. Nothing appears to happen.
All right.
So what are you doing next?
I'm gonna hop in the skull
You're
and
gonna
hide in it.
I love it.
You're gonna hide in the skull.
Yeah.
Okay. Go
I
make an
love
athletics
this.
check for me to try and climb into the skull.
Okay, and I'm getting closer because I'm like, what the fuck is Les doing?
Oh yeah, you're seeing this. You see him reach into the eye socket and then withdraw his hand and then kind of just go, "Huh!"
19.
19,
Wow.
and jumps into the skull, and he just vanishes inside it.
And I'm gonna hold my action if she tries to come inside.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Hold an attack.
fucking stab in the
All right.
face.
Good to know. Doesn't appear to be any movement of any kind.
Cool.
Well, we punked an old lady. Let's
The skull just kind of a little bit, and then kind of goes back to levitating, and it's staying 3 inches off the ground, as if you're not even there.
Okay, good. So Les is in the skull.
Yep. Les has jumped into the skull.
Is ghost riding it.
No.
Ghost riding the whip. So
Hope you're
coming up and around. What
You're
are you
pretty
doing?
close.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's your call. I shouldn't be. I'm too far afield to have a suggestion.
Or unless you were sending Rick to talk to me.
Actually, yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna send Rick over and be like, "Hey, you remember that plan you had with the goat?
My plan?
Yeah, it was like a goat, and you could like make it go mad."
Oh.
And make it go, man.
Okay. I can do that.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I'll do it.
You get it, you get it.
Alright. Okay. I'll
Gotta pop
get.
this off at some point.
I'm gonna get a touch closer.
Mm-hmm. You gotta be within 30 feet. You can see the door at this point, but you can't see into the hut at all.
I mean, you can make a sound come from not inside. Like, you can make it come from outside. Right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
have
you
to be
could. It would just be a matter of how loud you
Yeah.
would be able to make that, which would be a check.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, so I'm gonna move it closer, and I'm gonna do it. Knowing that fucking Les is in the skull, I'm like, I don't want to do it near the.
Do you know him in the skull? Did you
I
see me
fucking
go in?
saw you,
Oh,
yeah.
and pretty much everybody saw you.
So I didn't know how big the
We're all
hut, like the
just dying
skull.
laughing in
The
the
skull is 15 feet. The hut is 15 feet. The skull is 15 feet. They're about
Right.
the same size. The interior of the skull is much smaller.
Right.
But the actual size of it is pretty substantial.
I just want to say this is one of the funnier. Oh my god, dude.
This is genuinely ridiculous. I love it.
So yeah, I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna try and lure her out with thaumaturgy by making a goat sound near, like just outside of the hut, like near the roots.
Near the roots. Okay. Go and make a spellcasting ability check for me. So it's charisma plus proficiency.
Hey Jordy, while they're doing that, the cage with the ravens, is it locked? Or is it just like clasped?
Locked.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an iron lock on the outside of it.
That was a 14.
14. Okay. How close is it you're doing to the door?
So it would probably be about, because the door to the hut's like yay, and then the roots are down here, so it'd probably be like 10 feet.
And be down. Okay. You release the spell. Allow the
Nice.
and then
Solid goat.
the sounds of the ravens kind of drown it out a little bit. No one is there to see the interior of the hut, so you don't know what happens.
Cool.
That's good. Should we free these ravens before
6 seconds, 12 seconds, 30 seconds pass by. Doesn't appear to be any change in the interior.
Yeah. Is Rick still hanging about near me?
Yeah, bro, it's not.
Can Rick free the ravens?
Rick,
Yeah.
can you either do this or tell one of the folks who've got those nice lock-picking abilities to help out with the ravens?
Yeah, bro, no worries. He's gonna jet over.
Are the ravens inside the hut? They're in
They're
cages outside.
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 Think of them like mosquito
Yeah.
trap lanterns. They're basically that, but they're stuffed full of ravens.
Kaylee, do you mind moving Doc up a little closer? Yeah, about there's great. Okay, I'm gonna send Rick. Rick's gonna pop over to
Okay.
Allure and be like, there's some birds.
Okay. And they're on this side here.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. I'll pop up this way to where I can kind of see them. Can I see what type of locks and everything are on
It's an
there?
iron lock on both cages.
Okay.
It looks like it could be picked, but you would have to be right there doing it.
Okay. Do these look like real ravens, or like they could be
Make a
illusions?
perception check.
Oh, snarty pants.
18.
18. They look pretty real. Sounds coming from them are real. The squawking, you're noticing as well that because of the small confinement, small drips of probably blood and feathers are falling out as they're getting pretty excited at the fact that someone is there.
Okay, I'm gonna go up as stealthily as I possibly can with my lockpicks out, but also with my my rapier at the ready.
You get closer, I'm kind of gonna ready myself with firebolt in case anything attacks you.
Thank you.
Not that you would necessarily be able to see me kind of, other than just potentially kind of getting into a fighting style position.
Everyone's getting their guns.
I'm just praying out in the field right now.
Do you want me to try and
Born
work on the
again
other
in
one
the
while
swamp.
you do one, or think it's safer to just?
I mean,
don't
I was told to
contact,
come up.
yeah.
Up. So I'll go up to the whichever of the two cages looks to have more
They look pretty similar.
pros. Okay, and I'll check for traps as I'm walking up.
Sure. Make a stealth check first.
Plus 10.
So 30.
Nice.
30. Okay.
Rogue.
This is gonna be the one that
Silently,
she's
you kind of
I
manage to
swear.
lift your feet just to the top of it, and you kind of go tiptoes across the top of the marsh. Eventually, hop up onto one of the roots and kind of pull yourself up one of the sides of the roots, about 10 feet off the ground at this point. Nothing seems to happen.
Okay.
Looking for traps. Investigation check.
21.
That's some great tension right now.
Nothing appears to be trapped.
Okay.
Best you can see.
Okay. I will try to pick the lock.
Try to pick the lock. Okay. Go and make a thieves' tools check.
Where is
That's
thieves'
what we
tool
love.
again?
It's dexterity plus proficiency.
And don't you have advantage on it?
No.
No.
She gets her proficiency because of you're proficient with thieves'
Yeah.
tools.
That would be math. 13.
13. You start off one hand on your rapier and the other hand trying to pick it, and the lock's a bit tough, and you kind of eventually stow your rapier and just really try to get it. The ravens are just cawing like mad at this point that you trying to do that, and they're just going there. They can sense that someone's trying to let them out, and you're catching, and you're not even close to finding. This seems to be a pretty tough lock, whatever's holding them in there.
Okay, can I try to pick the lock again?
Not on the same side. You can't figure it out. You'd have to go over to the other side. And
Oh,
pick the
okay,
other
I'll do that.
one. Okay. Do you want to walk across in front of the door, or do you want to walk around the outside of the hut?
Outside of the hut?
It's okay.
Yeah, on the roof.
She's also not paying attention.
Well,
Do you
Allura
want to
can't
peek
see
in
her.
and look at her? Because you've been told what's in there, but you haven't really seen it for yourself.
I'm just hiding the skull.
No, I'm gonna crawl
Spear.
down over the
I wish you could drive this
the roots, and then
Alright,
kind of
Fred.
scale, and then go up the other side.
So around the outside, following along the route, so you're not ever passing in front of the door.
No, I'll go in front of the door, but I'll go down the roots so that I'm
Okay.
kind of scaling in front, and then pop right back up.
Okay. Easy enough to do. Lots of handholds, lots of marshy area. Now that you've made a lockpick check, go and make another stealth check for me.
34.
34. Okay. Make it up to the other side. No issue at all. Ravens squawking like mad. The first one's seemingly angry that you weren't able to release them, and the second one's now prepared for this. Go and make another thieves' tools check.
I'm just sitting in the skull hearing a bunch of squawking.
It's not a... Oh my god!
On
Okay,
the boat.
Does the being inside seem to be making any are they considering I can potentially see it? Is there anything are they
From where
aware?
you are, you can't tell.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Oh.
Ow.
23,
23. Okay.
I think.
You
16 plus 7.
Yeah, 23. So you reach up and you realize the locks are quite difficult, and you instinctively just leave your rapier sheathed at this point and just kind of. And you do manage to get this one unlocked. The lock is now open. It's still holding the door closed, but it's open. You would be able to release the ravens if you so chose. And they're just going, hammering against the door.
Yes,
at
they
this
wanna
point,
get
ready
out.
to go. Ready to
Okay,
get out.
I will do it.
So you undo the lock, pull it out.
Jump in
All
slow
right,
motion.
So you slide the lock out. As soon as you do, the gate just slams open. You hear a tang as the metal slams across, and then off into the sky, and then kind of forming into a cloud They kind of form up over the front of it, and then immediately turn and dart back towards the door and fly into the door. And immediately on the inside, you start hearing, and the woman seated at the table just kind of, and you can hear sounds of pains from that.
I'm gonna run back to the other side and try again.
Okay, so this is happening first.
Okay.
Yeah. So with this
Here we go.
Oh my god.
Fuck you, buddy!
Never
Crow
fuck with
time!
crows.
Yeah, they remember.
The crows!
So,
I was so
Get
ready
on
for
our
that to,
side.
like, come back and
I thought it was coming
not
back
last
at
night,
me.
you're trying
I was like,
to-
oh,
The
well,
crows.
I'm dead by crows.
Yeah.
so the swarm of ravens
Birds all over again.
do hit.
You
her.
didn't say it like that once. The whole
Crows.
time we're talking about the crows.
I'm stressed.
Oh no, I'm stress farting. I'm so sorry, you
Oh
guys.
god, no, we're aware.
I know you're aware.
We're pretty.
it's
I would
There's
recommend less meat in your diet.
There's some smell-o-vision going on.
swamp ambience right
Yeah. So if you want on your scratch and
There are
sniff
also
cards,
tubs
if you
in
could
the
please
back.
check out
I
number
won't help
3.
anything
Yeah,
else,
rotten egg.
but-
That's the one.
So the ravens fly inside, and you just hear mad squawking. Les, you hear this. Hope you hear this. Allura obviously hears this. The doctor is like, no, that's Allura.
No.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, you are all a bit of a ways away. You don't know exactly what's happening
Oh,
on
that's
the
immediately
inside,
better.
but you saw this swarm of ravens fly out, and then immediately turn around and a full 180 and fly right inside the hut, and just mad squawking inside there. You do hear the annoyance and anger, and a little bit of sounds of tearing of cloth material, probably, as the ravens are clearly
I'm
attacking
gonna start moving
whoever
to
is
try and
inside
get a
this
better
hut.
view.
And then you just see from within the hut, you outside, as you think about, okay, maybe I'm going to make my way across, you just see and all of them just fall to the ground.
The ones from in the hut or the ones that were
A
in
lot of scouts dead.
I need everybody at this point to roll initiative.
Hey!
Alright, I can go with that.
So,
Ooh, that's not good.
That's
a 4.
That's
Just-
20 for all. 21
Do you have
actually.
anything for that right now?
Not again.
For initiative?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually hiding
No.
the skull, so you can fireball. I'll be fine.
That's
No.
fair.
Oh my gosh, you
Finally. Yes.
Oh, are these the new blessed rings?
Yes.
Blessed.
I'm about to be blessed.
That was hella cute.
Bada bing.
Watch
Ah!
We watched a little Parks and Rec production.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
has anyone watched
Instagram photo.
the new
I'm drawing
season
brown
of She-Ra?
Oh, I
Not
am
yet.
watching
That show
it.
makes me cry so hard. I don't know what it does. It's like connected directly to my tear ducts.
I'm trying as fast as I can.
It's really good.
give me one second.
Hashtag blah.
You need like a D20.
Oh.
Wait. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now you just got a blessed hole.
Oh.
Did you get that? Well,
Look at your reaction.
Alright, so,
Oh, you have such a little imp in your face.
Oh.
Here we go, team.
Uh-oh. Let's do this.
initiative on everybody, please.
26.
New fight music. I'm in for it.
yeah, are you wanting when are you wanting us and do
Give me a sec. So
Also,
make sure
Jordan,
that everybody has rolled initiative. That's the
Yes.
important part.
I have, yes.
Yes.
I just
Unfortunately.
want to say I absolutely love the music coming in. Great ambience. This is also good.
So, initiatives 25 to 20.
21.
26.
26. Alright. Leaf first. Doc second. 20 to 15.
20 to 15.
20 to 15 anyway?
Oh, 16.
16? Okay.
Yeah, I'm also sorry for putting them in my mouth.
15 to
But
10?
My blessed hole.
Never be sorry for that.
Alright. And Les and Leaf, what
I
are
got an 8.
That's a big old 4.
You're right in the.
I'm gonna be hiding that skull for a while.
Leaf,
Potentially.
at the top of the round, you saw the light flash out from the front of the door, and you just heard fall to the ground. Very, very faint noise. What are you doing?
Okay, so I already had kind of moved over a little bit closer to see if I could see what was happening.
Yep.
Can I?
All you saw is the light coming out of the door, and you currently can't see anything except for Allura up on top of everything. Now having dropped down with the lock at her side in the open
Get on
cage.
top of the
I'm just gonna try and
On top of it?
get a little bit so I can see the angle of what's going on through the door here.
Okay.
1, 2.
We can say at this point as well, we can slide the map further this way. So 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can slide everything 8 squares this way.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Killed everyone.
Well, okay, I don't want that upside down
Why?
stat.
Sorry,
Because
I
it's a nice
These are
extensive
5
candle.
each, right? So I moved
Yes.
10
Why did you use that as
squares.
a prop?
So I have 30
Well,
squares.
I didn't think you'd be on top of it. And upside down.
5, 10, 15, 20. Can I see from here what's happening through the doorway?
Not really. You can see the
20.
light source because it's also
Okay.
10 feet off the ground, so you're looking up and in. You can't see anything inside there. What you can see from that perspective is Allura is crouched beside the door, an open cage above her, and a closed cage of more ravens squawking like mad on the other side.
Okay, can I, if I go here, can I see?
Again, you can't really see into the hut from that. You would need to get much closer and or off.
Come
the
join the fray,
Fire
Drow.
tonight.
So,
I'm a fucking ranged weapon user.
so that's,
Okay.
Then just hold.
Yeah, I'm going to.
all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold. Can I use both my bonus action and my action?
You can only hold one action.
Okay.
The benefit for you is that your action on your first turn is your 3 attacks.
I know, I'm
So
just
as
wanting
long
to
as you
hold
do that
Hunter's Mark
before-
as well.
Now, is it in? Because this is the thing: is where wording matters. Is it on your first turn or your first attack in combat? Because it'll matter.
I think we looked at this before.
And it was whatever the good one was.
Yeah.
It was the good one. I'm just kidding. Let's see here.
Hope wins.
That was some great
Oh no, you know what? I have it. Do I have it here? Maybe I don't. Okay.
Tension
No, it's okay.
like
It's in.
comedic,
I have it in my. You
relief.
know, if nothing else.
I wanted to go into the skull.
I'm really excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
I genuinely am. I think that was such a great choice.
Chekhov's.
Oh
yeah.
Chekhov's skull.
At the start of your first turn of each combat. At the start of your first turn of each combat, your walking speed increases by 10 feet. If you take the attack action on that turn, you can make 1 additional weapon attack as part of that action.
All right, so I'll allow you to carry over that third attack as part of your action if
Okay.
you make it before the start of your next turn.
Okay,
Okay.
that
all right.
seems fair.
All right, so you're holding your attack. of
I'm
3
holding my
attacks.
attack of 3 arrow attacks.
And nothing is a bonus.
If I can hold Hunter's Mark as a bonus, I would, but
Yeah, there isn't a way to do it.
so I can't even see a
Not
glint
from-
of her through where I'm at right now.
Make a quick perception check for me.
Okay, that I can do. Perception is 24.
24. Sure. I'll say you're able to catch enough of her that you would be able to cast Hunter's Mark if you wanted to. And so you
Okay.
fire Hunter's Mark.
I
at them.
see you, crazy
Yeah.
green
So I
person.
cast Hunter's Mark on her, and then I
Leaning into me.
hold.
Just kidding.
And then you hold.
I
Okay.
hold.
Alrighty. Alrighty. So that's going to be your action held. Doctor.
Yo. So what I think I'm gonna do is saddle me up to about wherever 6 is there, because I don't
think
want
that
to.
was
I don't want
6.
to dash.
That'd be 6.
I want to hold a couple Eldritch Blasts for if I see her.
Okay.
Pew pew.
Yeah, at this angle, she would have to step pretty substantially outside the hut for you to be able to see
I'm
her.
okay
but-
with that.
Alright, so that'll be your held action. Next up, we come to either Hope or Baba the Saga. Who's moving
Oh,
first?
Bubba.
I wonder.
I think I should move first.
Move
Just
it,
gonna.
move
I
it.
do.
Get her out of
Yeah.
in the open.
Okay then.
I mean, that's just
You
my
as
Well,
a group
yeah.
get to
You
decide.
can't talk during their.
No, you can't. This is the one
Is
thing you
it?
can't. Because they're both moving on the same initiative. You as a group decide who
Oh,
moves first.
okay.
Okay, I'm happy to do whatever the group choice is. If we'd rather wait and see what.
Well,
she's
we
gonna
have
do.
how many people are in hold actions against
Two.
the hag?
Currently, there were
It's 3 attacks.
And the other
And
thing is,
me
if,
if they
Five
come
attacks.
into the skull.
if she comes out, then you
Uh,
can move
if she
towards her.
comes
But
into
right
the
now,
skull
you're just
before your turn,
generally
you
moving
get two
towards the
attacks.
house.
That's true.
So
I
say
think
if she
we
comes
let her-
out after.
let her
Alright.
do her thing.
How do you? Yeah.
That's my
I
suggestion.
think
Comes
so.
out and booms everyone.
At the end.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
We
Fun run.
We pumped her real good. Yeah,
We're running Call of Cthulhu next.
Did we pump her really good?
In her blessed hole.
Oh, okay. I heard pump.
No,
I was
in
like,
her not blessed
okay.
hole. Her holes are not
That's
blessed.
Muriel on the way back.
Her holes are gross
So,
and
Full of
stinky.
feathers.
Who's
How do
moving
you
first?
know?
That's
Baba is.
About to find
Who's
out.
moving first?
Baba?
Baba.
Baba's
Baba
moving
first.
Baba.
Alright, so Laura, you outside, having just seen that and seen the ravens fall to the ground, about to make your move, you instinctively just, oh shit, and duck away from the door. As you do that, you hear the creaking of the chair as she seems to stand up and out of it. And then you just hear under her breath, I'll be right back, son. And the floorboards begin to creak under as she begins to make her way outside. It's not your turn, so you can't really act in any way.
Nope.
She steps outside.
Do we have a
Just
mini
kind
for her?
of looks around. We do have a mini for her. For lack of a better one, let's use Strahd.
That'll do.
Oh.
She's about as strong as he is.
Do we have
What?
another?
Yeah, I go.
Excuse?
Excuse you?
Can we like just take this out of here and have us like?
Sure.
It's just a little easier, I think.
Yeah. Just remember, just remember that you're. So yeah, use those to denote that you're 10 feet off the
Surely you
ground.
meant
'cause it
significantly
matters.
less
Okay.
strong.
That's what we came here, so we wouldn't.
I thought I was over the edge.
No, because you were up.
And they all
unlocking
rolled up
the
new
cage right
characters
beside
that
you.
day.
Okay.
We're over the hedge.
You managed to duck down and hide yourself as best you can. You believe you're hidden, but yeah,
Okay.
that was you basically reacted to the ravens flying out and looked around, and then they just immediately back inside. So she steps out, kind of like looks around and looks up at the cage. At this point, Alith, your action would trigger if you wanted to shoot her.
Can I still trigger it if I wait to see what she's doing, or
Your trigger was when you saw her,
that's true.
so
Okay.
you would.
I would fire it. Yeah.
Doctor, you at this point would not see her. She hasn't stepped far enough out yet, so you've got your 3 attacks. Go ahead and
Get it!
Oh, she's gonna murder
Get
me.
it!
All right.
Blink, blink, blink.
All right, first attack.
Hope you're good aligned now, right? We can use that shield.
Oof, almost a 16.
I know. 15.
15 misses.
Also, I would put that straight on the table because it's slightly angled.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you
We're okay
would've
with that
hit
being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally would have hit it last round anyway.
Yeah. No.
That's not gonna hit either. That last one was a 6. That was a 3.
Dice jail.
Damn, none of those hit.
All right, so 3 arrows. You just instinctively, one after another, just
We're making up for
and then
Vlad.
take your time
Yeah.
on the 3rd shot, really expecting it, and then fire the shot. And you kind of just see that she has reacted to the of the 2 arrows impacting against the side of the hut, and just looks back at you and sees the 3rd one coming in and just ducks out of the way as it flies inside the hut and impacts against the far back wall.
It's the kid.
Allura, at this point, you hear her. You're interrupting my time with my son. Be gone. And she reaches out.
This was a bad idea.
Everyone's disappeared except
Great idea.
What does she want to
There's
do?
a line on it, guys. That's fine.
You know what? She's going to take a quick look around because somebody released those ravens and it wasn't somebody who's 100 feet away. She does not see you.
Oh.
Natural 3.
Does she look into the skull?
Stab in the eye.
What she actually does is she goes up to beside the skull and you hear under her breath some kind of guttural sounds, and then reaches out and grabs the skull and tries to lift it and just kind of.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead and roll 3d10 for me.
3d10.
Here.
Yeah, it'll be the
This one, right?
dams.
These ones.
No, some dammies.
You're gonna do
3d10.
some, 3d10. So you're gonna do some damage to the skull as the rod cracks through the body.
Oh yeah!
Damn,
she's gonna
homie.
be
Damn, we just ruined a skull.
We could have used
That
that.
could have been my uncle for all
You
we
know
know.
what?
Use it if we're
Make
dead.
it 4d10 actually.
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh,
Give me
yeah.
more. Give me more. Give me more.
Did you put
All right,
five?
Brittany.
So we got 9, 9,
Oh.
2, and 4.
24 plus anything else.
It's
No,
just straight
it's just environmental damage.
Alrighty. As the rod kind of impacts against the bottom, and you see
You're
her
welcome.
like her
That one
her
doesn't
fingers are just up over the edge of the skull, and you can see that she's almost like gripped into it and is trying to lift it off of the ground. As you hear the and the whole bottom of the skull cracks open, the rod passes through it, and a whole series of bone fragment shatters pass onto the ground, and she's just kind of like. and like looks into the skull and jumps up over the edge, going.
Surprise, motherfucker! Les's battle plans always work perfectly. Is that advantage?
No.
Fuck. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this.
she's in combat. She knows something's happening.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah, 18 hits.
Woo!
Damn.
Okay,
And I'm gonna
15
use-
doesn't,
I'll
18
just dump
does.
it.
It's somewhere in there.
I'm going to definitely use one of my maneuvers for this shit.
So she's jumped into the skull with you and is now beside you.
Yeah, let's do distracting strike on that bitch.
Okay, go for it. So you get the extra d8 of damage on top of your d6.
Yep.
You're losing your shit over here with those dammies.
Okay, so that's 6, 2, 8
Whichever
plus
recording of
7, so that's
lessons
15
best
damage
idea.
on the first.
15 on the
Would I
first,
have
alright.
seen her try and get into the skull?
Actually, yes. Your shots would have fired as she jumped into the skull, so go and make your
You just
attack.
got exploded on.
Oh boy, that'll do.
So that one that was a distracting strike, so
So you have advantage on your next
advantage
attack.
on the next attack.
17 plus 8.
I need
25.
another D.
And
20.
oh, that one's not going to do the trick. So
No, D20, 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 D20. Go.
Oh, there we go.
Second attack. That's not a D20.
Oh.
gonna
Sorry,
use-
gave
Yeah,
you the
go
wrong
for it.
dice.
Better. That's 11 plus 8.
19. Nice
To
and
hit.
hits. Yep.
And for the second one.
13 points of damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, fuckity
The
fuck.
second one missed.
The second one is.
So that's the first bit of damage against her.
Yeah, and then the
the
second
Ravens were
attack,
first.
I
Yeah,
want
Ravens
to.
were
Oh, not to. No, I want to do. Does trip attack work in this thing?
It could.
Yeah,
Does
you
she go
could theoretically knock her prone inside the skull.
But then no one else can hit her.
Correct.
Right, so I
Just
don't
be
wanna do
out of
So
that.
the skull is splintering apart. Like,
It's not going to hang for long.
Fuck it, do another distracting strike.
Okay. So advantage on the next one. What's the damage on that second attack?
Let me just see here. Uh, 8, 3, 7.
All right. 18. 18 points.
18, and then I'm gonna fuck it and just go for another turn here.
You can't because it is not your turn.
it's there.
Oh, that's right.
It's a
Sorry,
held
sorry,
action.
sorry.
So this is a reaction that you've now used to
Yep,
do
yep,
that.
yep, yep, yep. My bad, my bad. Okay.
She jumps in, and as she does, kind of the arrow's all missing, and she thinks like, "Ugh, "This is so
Amateur
easy,"
hour.
and jumps in to just get blasted in the side of the shoulder with 2 force blasts, kind of catching herself a little, and then looking down at you as you just and just hit her like twice in the center of the chest, and like 2 deep puncture wounds, and this dark green black blood just starts to flow out of her. At first, and then it turns to a dark crimson blood.
Oh, okay.
As if maybe just the surface had that darker tone to it.
Right.
But she kind of looks down at you and, that was very stupid. And she reaches out and grabs you. Les.
Well,
Is she still
Les
got any
was
turn?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she does. It is a
She
free-
hasn't done anything.
It is a free action for her to interact with the skull.
Fuck.
So Les, I need you. You know what?
dude, you got this.
You hit her hard.
It died this week.
I was like, "Aw." Sorry, friend.
Les,
It happens. I killed an ivy last week. It was dying for a long
I
time.
need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
You got this, buddy. You
I
got
believe in
this.
you.
He's not close enough to me either.
Not
no.
even close.
No.
Whoa, Tony
Whoa.
Hawk Pro Skater.
That's literally Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Just
Dogs.
Constitution
Constitution saving throw, yeah.
plus 2, 16.
16. 16 is a failure.
Oh,
Spell
shit.
save 17.
Noted.
Les, you take.
All of the dams.
You take a new character.
Fine with it.
33. Les, you take 63 points
Wow.
of necrotic damage. Are you up or are you
Yep.
down?
Got 3.
You got 3. You got this.
Damn.
Okay.
Wow.
As she reaches down and grabs you and just lifts you with an unnatural strength up
Got you in
over
the
her head,
beans.
grabs your heart and just twists as you feel your entire body racked with necrotic energy, black and green, massive spikes of it down all your arms. Your blood just seems to turn to a green liquid, and then you are clinging to the edge of life.
So she's just holding me there?
She's holding you, and then she just kind of... Interesting. And then releases you. You're now standing in the skull with her. That is her turn.
Worth it!
How
my
much
God.
damage have we done? Not a lot, right?
I did a good chunk.
60.
About 50.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah, about 50.
Okay.
So don't get that
Hope.
close.
You're up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Worth it-
actually, no, sorry.
worth it to
As a
fuck
bonus
up the
action,
skull.
Fuck
as a
me.
bonus action, when she releases you, you kind of see her just take a look outside and see enough figures that she's kind of turns back and like holds her hand out over the edge of the skull back towards her hut, and then this guttural, like, I've got it written down here because it's so much fun. The woman begins to speak deep guttural sounds like the scraping of stone on stone and branches cracking against each other for a few moments. Then suddenly the cracking sounds no longer emanate from her mouth, instead coming from all around you. The spider-like roots surrounding the hut begin to crack and lift out of the ground as the entire structure tilts forward and shakes. And you're all kind of holding on. I need you holding on to the roots to make a strength save.
What about 10?
10. You kind of scrabble, not expecting this to move, and kind of lose your footing a little bit. You fall 10 feet to the ground. You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, no.
As you fall to the ground, you are...
Allura broke a nail.
Allura, are you
actually,
okay?
you know what? Make an acrobatics check, because it's only 10 feet. We'll see if you're able to land it.
You do a gainer.
16.
16? Yeah, you'll be fine. 10-foot fall. You land, taking no damage. 3-point landing. Then kind of stand yourself up as you notice and kind of look around you, and you're now almost underneath this giant tree stump that has lifted itself off of the ground and is now 20 feet up, standing completely on 4 spider-like legs that have roots that are passing out in the ground. And Aleth, you notice that the roots are also kind of going around and serpentining towards you, although they currently have no action.
I have a question, Jordan.
Yes.
The skull, was that like on the porch or?
Yeah, and the skull just it kind of maintains its flight distance, and she inside the skull with you, Les, just kind of looks at you.
I spit in her face.
Okay, but here's my question about that.
Yeah.
Would the hut have risen up past the immovable rock?
Yes.
Good
Like,
question.
did it rip right through and go
Yeah,
and stuck?
no, it would just because it's all it is it's a giant thing. Yeah, you know what? Sure, roll 4d10. I'll give you that. That's a good one. Good point. Good
Thank
point.
you, Doctor. Here's another D10.
1, 2.
You're welcome. I
2
went to
more.
medical school.
Let's fuck this thing up.
There we go.
You got. Oh.
Boom.
So
My sacrifice will be worth it!
Please.
Ooh.
Okay.
7, 4, 3, 2.
7, 4, 3, 2.
16?
7, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, 16. All right.
Jordy, may I?
Yes.
The roots that are now sneaking out from the hut, would
Yeah.
they be considered plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement?
To impede movement.
Yeah, or if they sneak around us, would they be?
It would be if you were like grappled by them.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be impeding movement.
Okay. I got saving throws. I advantage on saving throws because of Lance Stride.
Alrighty. So with her turn now complete, Hope. We come to you as, in a matter of a few seconds, you saw this green hag-like creature, but still altogether too human. It's not like the hags that you've seen before, where they were clearly like changed in some way. This woman just seems to be severely aged, but without any of the wear and markings that would denote age. Just someone who has kind of continued to grow over time. You see her having moved out, gripped less by the heart, almost completely, sucking him dry, and then standing him up inside the hut,
You might
or
say
inside the
shop
skull, and then the hut itself begins to lift off the ground. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit goes sideways real fast. That's what happens when you get high initiative.
I regret nothing.
You know what? That was a
That
great.
was
Yeah.
all fucking sick.
And it was 3 points, right?
Almost.
Cool.
Almost.
Man, if only I could have cast that at a higher. If only if casting that at a higher level did more damage.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyway.
So, considering what kind of distance am I from Baba right now?
Yep. You're about from her. So she is fully inside the skull. She has 3/4 cover. You can barely see her because she's kind of crouched down underneath the lip of the skull. The only person who can really see her is Les.
Yeah.
The
But
bottom
I'm
of the skull
meaning
fell out, didn't it?
distance.
Direct bottom of the skull.
Oh, I see.
So you'd have to be directly underneath her to shoot up.
Oh,
at her.
I get you.
But what literal distance am I?
35 feet.
Fuck.
You haven't moved yet, though.
No, that's why I'm.
She's also floating 20 feet off the ground. Inside the skull.
Yeah.
Is the skull floating or is she floating?
The skull is floating, she's inside it.
Okay.
So the skull is free of the rod.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's also
Yeah, the
cracked
skull
in half.
cracked through, the rod cracked through the bottom of the skull.
So she's
damaging it.
20 feet up right
She's
now?
20 feet off the ground.
Seems like it, yeah.
She and Les are both inside the skull, about 20 feet off the ground, and she has
Great
just
bit.
hidden herself from
And
view
I'm
as best
currently
she can.
35 feet.
35.
Plus the 20.
Correct.
Bring it on, you
Alright.
son of a bitch.
So I'm gonna move my 30 feet.
Yeah. Okay.
Get right next, and as a bonus action, Misty Step in the.
Sure.
All
I'll
right.
allow you to do that. Alright, so you Misty Step up inside the skull with her.
Smite
and
that
Les.
motherfucker!
It's a little bit on the cramped side, because it's
Les is
not a
just
lot
like-
of room. I would say that melee attacks are made at disadvantage because of the, because of how cramped it is. But you didn't know that before getting in, so you're in there. What are you doing?
I'm gonna try and fuck her up with my great sword.
Okay, go for it. Make your attacks with disadvantage.
Good sword, a great sword.
Thank you.
So
spring
that
now.
is at disadvantage a 17.
17 hits.
Yo!
Okay.
Cool. And with my big ass sword.
Oh yeah.
Into there.
It's your dragon sword.
Smite!
Let's add some.
Dump that smite.
Let's add a.
Dump those DMs.
So
Let's
dirty.
do a level 2 divine smite, so that will be plus 48. No.
You tell me.
Yeah, so I'm assuming she's fiend.
She is not.
She is not.
Bump, bump,
And is she undead?
Nope.
Yeah.
She is a human.
Okay.
Does divine smite still work?
I
against
still get a
humans?
2d8.
You still get the base damage. You just don't get the bonus damage.
Yeah, but I can still also add another d8 by doing it as a level 2 splot.
Yeah, if you want to.
A level 2. Level 2 splot.
A level 2
Yeah, I'm
splot.
sticking
Blot
with
it up!
So I'm gonna
Splatter in her dumb
slot
hag
it
face.
with my 2d6s from my
Splot it.
great sword,
Yep.
and then so that will be 3d8.
Yo.
Good.
Use our
Get that tank.
No, I'm like, which ones are d8s again?
I love accidentally rolling d10s as d8s.
What a great time that is.
Truly a
That's
Nice
it.
one, friend.
That is a.
Plus your weapon attack.
So that is 24 on my dice roll plus strength
Yep.
and plus anything else.
Yeah, the plus
Proficient.
so.
Yeah.
20. Okay.
Pretty good at 9,
I wrote plus 9 on. So hang on. I just confused myself.
So your damage is strength plus 2.
Oh
plus
shit.
whatever
Okay, this is 30 then.
30.
Yo.
And
Second attack.
yeah,
Go for it. At
again
disadvantage.
with my sword.
Nice.
Yeah, that's an 18.
18 will hit.
And I'm gonna do the exact same thing again. Yeah.
Yo.
Do that.
Praise the sun.
That is 21 plus.
I mean, I would bless it.
That's 27.
27.
Yo.
2 heavy strikes as Hope just materializes inside there, lest you kind of just cling to life. spitting blood at this point, kind of like a green, biley blood almost.
As I see Hope, can I just yell, "My savior!"
And then onto the side as you just pull out the greatsword from behind your back, and just 2 heavy strikes right across the body, one down and one back up the other side. 2 deep slash wounds straight from the clavicle all the way down to the side of the waist, and pull right back up to the other side, blood spattered everywhere. She's already looking pretty hurt.
Yo!
Well, I mean, yeah, that
Paladin
was like
smite.
what, 50 plus dummies, and
57 damage.
You're all screwed up now.
Allura, you having just fallen off of the hut, and you now see, looking up, the floating skull above you. You saw Hope teleport inside there. What are you doing?
Okay, I am going to
This is like number 7 you say, well.
Legolas bounce up the whatever
Sorry,
legs.
just super quick. How many second level spells do you have?
I have 3.
Okay, just checking. So they're all gone now, right? Because Misty Step
Is a level 1 spell.
Yeah, Misty Step was level 2. My bad. Never mind. Sorry. Continue.
Because I swapped it out recently, so I feel.
My bad.
I am going to run and jump and kind of think Legolas up the elephant.
Yeah.
The legs of the hut.
That's an elephant.
Like making up
Yes. I just have to say parkour.
You just gotta say Legolas.
Or Legolas. I can do that.
You can.
Parkour.
It's also moving, so that helps with the acrobatics because you can kind of get a little bit of a push.
Okay, that'll be a 24.
Yep, that's more than enough.
Okay.
So you're able to climb up, back up onto the top of it, and there is kind of a flat area where the hut is that you can kind of steady yourself on a little bit.
Okay.
So that'll be your movement to get up to that point. You're now at level with where the skull is.
Oh.
But I'm like the hut.
Yep.
I'm
the
like
hut
on
is,
the porch
so
of the hut?
Yeah, so the hut
Okay.
is think of the hut as a square inside a circular stump.
Okay.
Right, so you're on kind of that porch brim on the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see inside the front door.
Inside the front door of the hut?
Yes.
You can.
Are you gonna murder a child?
Get the kid.
We can't.
Don't
we
hate
can't
everyone,
say
don't.
Okay.
No, no,
Your
it's
turn,
what
what do
would
you got?
Allura do?
So you see before you see the crib.
Wow.
You see the child
Wow.
in it, still looking angelic, still smiling oddly. Kind of radiant glow about its cheeks.
Can I?
Oh, actually, that reminds me. Sorry,
Football
hang on one second.
The baby murders it.
The baby's gonna pull a fucking.
Go with. Do we steal the kid?
This is your thing. This is your thing.
Gonna do a fucking train spotting on the ceiling and come down on all of us.
Yeah, it's either gonna be like an evil child, or it's gonna.
Okay.
She's gonna.
Because of the timing of all of this, I'm going to say as you climb up, you kind of look in at the center with the child in the crib, and then you just hear the on the other side as the blood slashes out, and all of a sudden it just vanishes.
The kid vanishes.
The kid, the crib, it's all gone.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, seeing that,
There
I'll
we go.
turn around.
Let's solve that. It was a fake baby. Also, how
Was it?
bored you
Or
get.
either that, or
Classic fake
she's
baby
taking
trick.
it to another.
I don't think it was fake. I think it was.
I think it was a real baby. I was
I don't
head
think it was a real
I'll kind of jump onto the skull.
Sorry, I will say you've seen enough illusions dematerialize. Illusory.
Oh, it wasn't a real
The whole-
baby?
The whole thing was an illusion.
I knew it.
Oh,
She's just crazy because she's been here for 100 years,
Okay.
Hundreds.
thousands. Of
Maybe
years.
her baby died at some point and she's
Yeah.
trying to.
No, we got sad backstory.
Okay.
Climb over to the
I
baby.
will
One time a baby died. Now we have
Run.
sympathy.
kind of try to with my rapier,
Yeah.
and I don't want to get into the skull, but I want to try to like hold onto the side of the skull.
So you would have to jump off of where the hut is to try and make that leap, and you
Yeah.
don't have the movement to be able to do that right now, unless you used your bonus action to dash. Because it's your full movement to get up to the top of that, and parkouring up the sides, you lose a little bit of movement to get the 20 feet
You're in the
up.
back of the car.
Yeah, couldn't she get her from where she is?
Crossbow.
Like
No.
she's like 20, like 10 feet off because of the hut moving.
But
Can't you crossbow?
She's a human.
You can crossbow if you wanted. She just has 3/4 cover inside the
Oh right.
Yeah.
skull.
Yeah, plus me and you in there.
I'm on the floor. bleeding.
No, I'll just go to the other cage and try to.
I will say as well, looking inside, just in case you've forgotten, there is that green glow coming out of the floor as well.
You gotta
So.
make sure you're hanging out. Because I can't see.
Oh, green glow.
Yes.
The
the
gem.
gem.
The
Yeah.
Because the other one
you
glowed
would've
green
put, like,
too.
Don't worry about me. I want an honorable
yeah,
death.
okay,
That's all the whole
I
thing.
would-
You saw the green glow kind of hitting the crib, and then the crib vanished, but the glow remained.
Okay.
And it's kind of pulsing. A little
Yeah, that was my first instinct was to go into the hut anyways. Okay, so I will go and look at the green glow.
Okay, so do you want to use your bonus action to get inside the hut for the extra movement? Because right now you're on the porch, but you're out of movement. You can't move
Right,
further.
and at that point I can pick something up.
Yeah, it's a
Because
free
it's a
action.
free action.
Free action to pick something up.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, so bonus action, move inside. You look in the floor, and the floor has got like splintered cracks in it, and a bunch of rotting wood, and the glow is kind of coming from the underside of that. Looking in as best you can, it's a little bit tough to see. All right, you want to? There isn't enough room for you to get your hand through. You'd have to try and break through the floorboards.
Which is an action.
It's an action, which you haven't used yet, so you could use that if you wanted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
All right, so go and make an attack with your rapier, or do you want to use a different weapon?
I mean, I thought I was just gonna punch through the floor. But that's what I had. That's what I had in my head. But I will use my rapier.
Or you can make a pin needle hole in the floor.
Yeah.
It's a natural one.
Oh.
So you kind of just go in,
Rapier shatters.
and you try and find a point, and then the hut just shifts at the last second, and you slide, and it just slides right through one of the holes, and then pulls right back out. You also kind of realize in that moment, using a piercing weapon against a floor is probably not going to be the quickest thing in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. So if there's a slashing or a bludgeoning trying to break it in some way, that might do a little bit better.
Could she use the hilt of her
Punching?
rapier?
You could try, but it's not really a weapon
Okay.
designed to do a lot of damage.
Okay, well, I mean, that's my turn, right? That's my...
That's your whole turn.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
some. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, that's gonna be your turn. Leaf, you're up.
No, it's me.
Yep.
So Les, you're hanging.
Well,
You don't even know.
we
He's
have-
not hanging. He's inside. You just see blood
You're
dropping
so
from
far
the
away.
bottom.
I know.
Yeah.
I gotta sprint over.
Yeah,
so
at best, you see blood dropping out from the
Okay.
bottom
Do you
of
want
the
me to
skull.
move you kind of like 6 or 30 feet that way kind of deal?
yeah, 30 feet that way.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I'm
5,
not even gonna be able
6.
to bless people.
How far? How?
They're not even in a 30-foot range, right?
Nope.
Dash is a bonus, isn't
I know,
it?
but I
though?
can't.
Dash
like,
is an
I won't
action
be able to-
except for Allura.
Oh.
It's a
Yeah.
bonus action for her.
Okay, so I'm just gonna park up next to the dock, a bit
Yeah.
closer.
I think
So
you have like
move,
one
you can move
square.
sideways. You can move sideways because it's
Yeah.
still the same. It's just you can't move.
I'm just,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would rather
Here,
be over
actually,
here?
sorry, I'll just do this.
Okay.
And I'll use my bonus action to dash up here.
So it's your action to
Yeah,
dash.
sorry, my action, yeah.
Yeah. So you'd be able to move.
Do you wanna go
you'd be able
farther
to move
in?
further. You've got 4 more squares. of
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I'll go a bit closer, but I still can't see less, right?
I don't think you're gonna get
if
to a
you-
place to
If
see.
you moved another 4 squares, you would be able to see enough
Here?
of less
Okay,
through the holes
Okay.
in the skull.
okay.
You'd be able to see him badly clutching his heart.
Perfect! That's all I need. Oh, fuck! And I'll cast a healing word.
What's the range on healing word?
I think it's 60 feet.
Not to be that guy, but didn't you already use your
Yeah,
action
60
to move?
Bonus.
No, it's bonus action to healing word.
Action!
Alright, bonus action. Healing word at what level?
I'm just doing it at first level because I want to. Actually, no, second level.
Second level, alright.
Yeah.
Heal him up.
Oh.
Double ones.
2 ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a. That is a 12.
So you
Okay.
heal 12.
It's something.
That's not so bad.
You're
Les has like a splint on his pinky finger. He's like, yay!
So that's going to
Thank
be
you.
Leaf's whole turn.
My whole turn.
Les, we come to you feeling a little bit invigorated, kind of like some of the
Should've done
the non-visible wound healing as you kind of just see this green ichor float back inside your veins, back towards your heart. What are you doing?
Get your my mojo's back, baby.
not bad.
Baby.
My turn.
Nice.
So you're inside. You got your attacks.
Yeah, I'm just going ham.
Yeah.
That's all I can do.
Okay, so this is why we need markers. You had done Distracting Strike. The next melee attack would have been from Hope. It still hit regardless, so I'll give you advantage on this. Sorry, I'll make you make a straight roll on this to make up for that.
Okay.
Because
It'd be a straight roll anyways.
No,
No, it would have been
it's because there's 3 of you crammed in.
Yeah,
so
you would be rolling
Your
at
attacks at
disadvantage.
disadvantage. You're essentially restrained because you can't really move
I'm picturing the
within there
teacups
properly.
on Disneyland. It's
You know what I do? Am I able to grab the hag and jump out of the skull with her?
You can certainly try.
Oh my suplexer.
Go ahead and it's your
Holy
action to try
shit,
and
he
make a
really is
grapple
John
attack. So go
Cena.
and make a it's a contested
It's at my athletics versus your athletics or acrobatics.
correct. So it'll be in her case.
She's strong though, remember?
I have good athletics.
She is going to make an athletics check.
But she picked up this 5,000-pound
No,
skull.
magically.
Magically.
He did say
Natural 20.
That's a 9.
Oh shit! And the Undertaker off the top rope.
So your action is to grapple her. So now you're holding her.
Yeah.
So you can now use force movement to try and force her out. I'll let you use your second attack as an attempt to essentially
Hell in
vault
the
yourselves
cell.
out of it. So go ahead and make this will be another.
You don't understand. I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me.
So this will be
Hell in
another
the cell.
contested athletics check to try and essentially throw her with you outside of the.
my God.
Oh
Okay.
shit, King of the Ring style.
Okay. That's a 15.
That is 13 plus 6.
Oh!
That's a 19. You kind of grab her and just like look at the edge and just. And you use half of your movement to do that, so you've got 15 squares of movement left. The 2 of you kind of tumble up over the edge, and you see her eyes just go wide, looking down at the ground as you both fall 20 feet to the ground.
As God is my witness, she is broken in half.
So,
Oh, can you believe that?
Les, you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall 20 feet to the ground.
Yep.
She takes it as well. And that is everything for you except your bonus action, unless you would like to action surge.
Sure would.
Alright, so action surge, I'm assuming you release her
Um.
to be able to attack her?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you release her, pull out your spear one more time.
Yeah.
You get your 2 attacks, go ahead and use them. So I'll say with this, I'll give you advantage on this because she would be prone at this
Yes.
point.
Oh
so,
shit.
so she's at advantage. You're at advantage.
Yeah. And I'm going
You do
to.
also just super in. You do also have your bonus action. I know it doesn't give you more advantage, but it would give you bonuses to damage if you wanted to fainting strike into it.
Yeah, man.
But I already have advantage in this.
No, I know, but I'm saying as your bonus action, like unless you were going to heal yourself or something, you could just use your bonus action to give yourself the extra D8 of damage.
Yeah. All right.
So
You're like.
This is the hit, right?
This is to hit, so it's an attack to hit.
As God is my witness.
That's a 17 plus 8.
Yeah.
Yo!
This is
Lester.
D6 for the weapon,
Damn,
D8,
Leslie.
Yeah, I need another D8.
and another D8.
How many D8s?
1 D6, 2 D8s.
Yep.
That's a 7, 7, 3 plus 7.
Yo!
7, so 24.
Yep, on the first one.
Okay. Second attack. At advantage still because
clack.
she is prone.
Yep.
God is.
Damn.
Oh, good God Almighty.
Did you see that?
It's 19 to hit.
Watch out!
15
Watch
hits.
out!
And this will be.
Yeah, we're just commentating this
Yeah.
pro wrestling.
And that's less off the turnbuckle.
You know what, fuck it. I'm gonna try goading attack.
Okay.
So you gotta make a whiz save.
Okay.
Wait, what does that do?
6, 5, 7.
It's less.
Yo!
No!
How do you want to do this?
Oh, this is gonna be harder.
Yeah, it fucking should have been. Somebody didn't jump in her fucking skull.
And murder it.
We recorded the best.
Les, how do you want to do this?
So
You grab her, jump out of the skull, holding her in her arms. Everybody's screaming as you fall to the ground. Your blood spatters, her blood spatters. You jump up out of her reach, and she's just scrabbling back at this point. You can see her hands weaving signs for a spell. What are you doing?
So there, the hag is on the, or the mage is on the floor.
So you leap up out of the skull, holding her in your grasp, slam her 20 feet down, land on top of her, jump yourself up, immediately rip out your spear. What do you do?
I take my spear and drive it through her heart and rip it out of her body.
All right. So you grab the spear, you pull it back, and you instinctively kind of like realize it's going to take two, and you stab on the left side of the heart, and then you rip it back out, and she's just screaming as blood is pouring out. You pull it back, second right side of the heart, creating those two puncture wounds, and reach in, and both sides just rip this dark green, black, and yet somewhat crimson heart from her chest.
And I take a bite out of it.
And she just
fatality.
It just immediately falls over to
now
the ground.
there's only one old person in this town.
I need you to make a Constitution save.
Yeah, I was like, maybe don't.
Yeah. No,
you're holding this like sickly black.
No. It's just
I know it's for flavor and everything.
But maybe don't eat pieces of the bog
There is a
witch.
thing. However, she is down, but combat continues. Les, that's going to be your full turn.
The house.
Top of the round, Aleth, you're up first. What are you doing? The house has begun to move. Its arms, its snake-like legs creeping out amongst.
Do I perceive that the house is moving without her? Like I can see that she's died and the house is still going. Did I see the light coming from inside from where my vantage point here?
Yeah,
green
you would
light?
be able to see that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, the green light?
Yeah, like
no.
what?
But you
lured Allura
knew
to
it
the
because
house?
the doctor explained that to everybody.
Right,
that
that's
Rick
right.
saw it,
Okay.
so you didn't know.
I'm just
it's
trying to
there.
make sure I'm not metagaming here.
Yep,
So
all good.
Yeah,
at this point, you're all pretty much sharing the
5.
same knowledge. The only difference is you know that the crypt doesn't exist. No one else does.
Would we have seen Allura go inside?
With her stealth roll, no.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. 5, 10, 15, 20. I don't have any negative effects for climbing up, I think. That's one of my things. Let me just make sure that it's not at a next level.
Is it marsh?
No, it's not that. It's
That was impressive.
it's a Gloomstalker.
At the end of this fight, I'm gonna go. I
Hang
was
tight
alright.
just a tick.
We'll see. That's a couple steps, folks.
Or maybe it is.
God damn. You buffed her hit points a bit too, and you still took her down within the first round. That's crazy.
Land stride, starting at no. I thought there was a thing where if I climb, I don't have to take
Did a backbreaker on her.
negative whatever. But okay, can I try and jump? I'm at 20 here, so I have 10 more feet of movement. Can I try and...
It's 20 feet off the ground, so there isn't really a way for you to get all the way up, no matter how you do it. You'd have to use your full action to just move up to the top.
Well, I know that this thing is starting to move, so I would probably use my full action just to get up in there.
Okay.
Now that I know that Allura and Les and Hope and everybody are already up there.
Sure. Go ahead and make an acrobatics or athletics check, your choice.
Party,
We're gonna
Doc.
do
With the movement of
athletics.
it coming up and
Actually, yeah,
around.
that's not a bad idea.
We're gonna do athletics because I actually have proficiency to that. Okay.
Ooh, you do.
That's gonna be 16.
16? Alright, that's enough.
All
So
right.
with your movement, you're able to get up to the top, essentially the same situation that Allura was in. You're on the porch outside
Yeah.
the hut.
Like I'm
You have
where
no
Hope
movement
is, right?
remotely. Sorry?
I'm where Hope is.
No, Hope is still inside the skull.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
still
okay,
in
so
there.
I'm kind of...
Floating in the skull.
Yeah, Hope is
Yeah.
floating in the
Yeah.
skull. You do notice as well, though, that the skull at this point has started to cantilever to one side and has begun to fall.
Okay.
Watch out.
I already used my action though to get up
Yes,
there.
you're fully. You've got a bonus action. That's all you have.
After
a
a
bonus
rad
action,
kill, I
if you
just
wanted to,
die.
you can move the hunter's mark from
The
the
skull.
to
Best
the
death
hut.
ever.
I'm gonna move it to the hut.
So the hut has been hunter's mark. Alrighty,
That's all
that's
I've
gonna
got.
be your
But I'll
full
be
turn.
like, Allura, what the fuck?
Alright,
And I'll
so
just sort of
taking a
take in
shot.
what's going on there as Allura is like trying to stab her rapier through some floorboards. At least I have other weapons. Like,
I'll say if you wanted to, as a bonus action, I would
Yeah.
allow you to take out a weapon that might be better at that and toss it to Allura because you don't know what she has.
I'll give her my non-silvered short sword. But you already have what you need. Okay.
You've got enough interaction that you could say, "Do you need something?" and you can say no.
Yeah. Okay. I would do
Okay,
that.
so that's fine. Okay.
Although I do have tree blight sap, and that might burn through it.
Alrighty. So that's going to be your turn. Aleth, Doctor, you're up.
Or I
You
have
now
the
see at
demon
this
tooth.
point the movement of the
Large
creature is
demon tooth.
really starting to animate. It's
Yeah,
definitely getting ready to go.
I'm just gonna ride this thing.
I kind of want to.
Yeah, let's go.
Can I dimension door inside?
into the
hut?
Into the hut?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say we.
By 15,
Yeah, because your intelligence is 19, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kevin-
you're smart enough to know exactly where you need to be. You,
Oh.
as an action,
Fine.
just
Yeah.
and Allura, you see in front of you, and directly in front of you inside the hut, the doctor stepped through a kind of cosmic doorway as he just like opens up a door and steps into the room,
Doctor
closes it behind him.
Hey guys, what's up?
Oh, hi.
Hey,
So it says I can bring a creature with me.
Of equal size, and they need to be willing.
Okay. Could I take leave?
Are you beside him?
Yeah, right there.
We're like
I
right
thought-
there.
Yeah, you could use your
I
movement.
thought he
to-
was a large creature though.
I
so
can carry large things. I'm
Yeah,
technically
he's
big
technically still a medium creature.
for some reason.
Yeah, it's not like Grog when he's in large.
Only one part of you is.
So-
I was just gonna say, can you
I'll
take
say-
olive leaf or
I'll say-
just?
yeah, I'll say as
my.
this is
As the
something where
door
you could
opens,
kind
I
of
just
go
want to
up,
be like, Leaf, come quickly.
and you
Come
just
with
kind
me
of
if you
grab
want
How
to
him
long's he?
and just pull him through.
Oh, God,
so
you
yeah,
are
so
the
the two of you
doctor.
are inside.
Stumble through. Oh, jeez.
So it's a little cramped on the inside. It is only 3 by 3, so it's a small area.
That'll fit all of us.
But it'll still fit pretty much everybody. So you're kind of inside. You all now look at the ground and you all see this green glow kind of.
Do we recognize it as the same glow that as the other seed jewel that we found?
Would I have? Because it's still my turn technically.
It's still your turn technically. You have a bonus action remaining because
Yeah.
you mentioned there was an action. So
So looking at this glow.
make an intelligence check as a bonus action. We'll
Yep.
say.
18.
18. Looks pretty fucking close.
All right,
Chateau
guys. I think it's the thing.
Noodle Stomp's back on the menu.
Hey, I want some champers, man.
Damn it.
As everyone's doing things, I'm going to be muttering to myself really cool one-liners that I could have said.
You're just like
before.
you're just rolling on the
Chill
ground as
out.
we all ride off.
All right.
Hey,
so,
don't get ahead
Doctor,
of yourself.
That is
You're
your
gonna
turn.
get ahead
That's
of
my turn.
you gotta
From
try
there,
to-
on initiative count 20, the skull drops to the ground. So hope you take inside it 9 points of bludgeoning damage as you
Okay.
fall and crack into the ground, and it impacts. It also takes 9 points. Still intact, but it kind of rolls over to one side, and you're kind of ejected from inside the skull. So you're now on the ground. We can effectively remove the skull from the battlefield at this point.
Do you want to remove the skull
Um,
from the battlefield?
Yeah.
Amanda.
With you and Les being the only people currently on the ground, the hut is going to go ahead and make attacks against you both.
Worth
Yeah, it's going to make
We have a
3.
diner, right?
So it's got 3 root attacks. So Les, you kind of on the ground, standing over Baba Saga, just kind of spouting your one-liners in your head and like thinking about what's going to happen. You kind
If
of
you're
look
going
up.
to try to kill a member
And you
of the
see
Crimson
from one
Tide.
side of you just a giant root just out of the ground and just stab right into you. That is a 29 to hit.
Yo!
Sure does.
Uh,
This would make such an epic film moment.
Yep.
Do all that and then just be like, I won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
Holy
killed.
This is your.
Les, you take.
I'm at 10 right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
Oh god.
Insta
Les.
kill.
32.
If I die, this would be fucking amazing. I'm just gonna
Les will
say.
take
go.
40 points of bludgeoning
Yo!
damage. As the root just comes up and just impacts against the center of your chest and almost carves a hole through you before shoving you back onto the ground. You are officially unconscious.
Yeah, I bet.
Second attack is going to come against Hope.
That doesn't give me extra death saving throws because it's like
No.
double, triple right
No, the
It's
second
only
one
once
was
you're
the-
unconscious, and if you get hit, then you get
Gotcha.
more stuff. Hope that is
I take my pod. I'm
a
just gonna rest now.
33 to hit.
I think it hit.
33 to hit.
I think it
The
might.
Triton sages come.
Oh, come on, really?
Take long last.
But yeah, no, that's
Okay, you
that's
take
that's not my
16
uncle's
points of bludgeoning
The
damage.
backstory.
Yeah, that was shitty rolls, and it was still 16. The third attack coming in against you, Hope.
You would be lauded amongst
Yeah, it's
my
like
truck
29 to hit.
It hits
The
again.
heroes of the Triton race.
Wait, how much damage did I say before?
16.
Sorry, 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I misadded the numbers. That's better.
Close that book.
30 points of bludgeoning damage on the second
Okay.
attack.
Okay.
As two giant roots kind of coming up out of the ground and just pulling sideways, one impacts against you and slams you into a second one, which cartwheels you onto the ground, and then you kind of get brought back to your feet a little bit as the ground underneath you is shifting. Definitively, this creature is hurting you guys. Hope, you're up next.
Seeing.
What? I said it.
He's just keeping it real, guys.
I don't even.
I would love to crit one of those, I'm not gonna lie.
So
You were close, but no cigar. That was one of the one-liners. That was.
Less
Yeah.
explodes.
if I were to
Hey,
use,
guys. Emma's turn.
if I was to do lay on hands, would that be a bonus action or action?
It's an action.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over to Les and just pump my 25.
Nice.
Alright.
Max
You heal
into
for
them.
25. So you're back up. You're no longer unconscious, but you are still prone.
Yeah.
Alright.
Number 8, Les.
I'm counting them. Don't worry.
Kim, we got this thing going on here.
That one comes to burn.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot I can do for movement. I might actually. Can I
You try to climb if you wanted.
up it?
Yeah. You'd be able to climb up to the top of the roots, but that's about all you could really do.
Sure, let's try that.
Alright, go make an athletics check for me.
Probably.
That's a unnatural 20.
Okay, that's enough. So you're able to get up to the top. So you're now 20 feet off the ground. You're still a little bit of a ways away from the stoop, but you're at least up off the ground and kind of riding one of the giant trunk legs at this point, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, that's going to be your turn. From there, we come to Allura.
Alright,
Inside the room.
I am going to, out of my pack, pull out a crowbar
Okay.
and start.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make. Sure. Strength plus proficiency plus whatever you roll. D20 plus strength plus proficiency. I'll say you're proficient with crowbars.
That's fair. Aren't we all?
17?
17. Okay. You kind of reach down and pry up one of the floorboards, and it ping and does lift off. And directly below that, you do see one of the gems that is identical to the ones that you saw, to the one that you saw inside the creature being summoned at Yester Hill.
I'll pull it away from the.
It's an action to try and pull it out because it's definitively rooted in there. There isn't a way for you to do anything else as a bonus action. interacting with it.
Would you say that using the crowbar to crack up was a?
That's an action.
And was it a melee attack?
No. You could. I would allow you to pull out your crossbow and shoot if you wanted.
Like at the underneath to.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything, but it's kind of just like a mass of moving vines and roots
Alright,
just holding it in place.
I got it.
Okay. I will.
At best, you could move out of the way to allow somebody else to try.
Okay. I'll do that.
That's your turn. All right. After Allura, we come to Leaf.
Cool. Moving out of the way, I pull out my woodcutter's axe
Alrighty.
and
yeah.
take a swing at that thing.
Go for it. Make your attack.
Cool. That'll be a 18 to hit.
18 will hit. So what's the woodcutter's axe thing again?
So I get an extra 1d8 against any plant.
Nice.
Creature.
Yeah.
A plant or a plant creature.
There you go.
So, and I get an extra d8 from being a divine strike at this point.
cool dude, I guess, yeah.
So
Whatever you say.
3 d8s and coming in hot. Can I
Need
get an
more?
extra d? Yeah, if I could get an extra d8. I get those. Yeah, cool. So that is 10 plus 14.
14. Okay. So you start slashing and hacking in, and you definitely loosened it up. It would be easier to grab the gem out. It still hasn't quite fallen out yet.
Okay.
Though. It's definitely still in there, and the vines are kind of realizing what's happening and definitely trying to come
Okay,
over.
cool. Then with the rest of my action, I want to run out. If I can still see, we're still close enough to Hope and Les, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
I'm,
see
like,
that the
hanging.
creature is moving, and
Yeah.
they're kind of like being left
Okay, I want
behind a
to
little.
hang out and.
Or sorry, they were until Hope.
Yeah, I want to cast a healing word at 2nd level.
Okay. On who?
Hope.
Hope. Okay. Go ahead and roll your healing for that.
So is the skull destroyed?
Skull's been destroyed.
that's
It's just
better.
fallen over and it's just on the ground, kind of sideways.
Hanging on the immovable rod?
No, it broke through the rod. The rod is just in midair, 15 feet off the ground.
18.
Behind us now.
Behind you now, yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. So I healed him for 18 points.
All right, good to know.
Me too?
No, just
no
me.
points.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Alrighty. So Leaf, that's your turn.
Yeah, that's my
Les,
turn.
you're up. On the ground, a little bit healing, but you notice that the hut at this movement has started to move away, and you're about 40 feet behind it at this point.
About the hut.
So we're like
It moves pretty quick.
here?
Exactly. Hope is up top, but you are not. Yeah, there you go.
I
It's not a
wish.
shame.
I wish.
Will I get up?
You just got a series of these massive
No shame.
roots all around you that are kind of moving like giant spiders' legs.
Alright, well, it's an action to get up, right?
No, it's half your movement.
Half movement, okay? So half movement to get up and just. Don't, like, I just woke up and no one was around me.
Yep.
I'm like, ugh.
No, you woke up to Hope pumping
Oh, okay.
you full of healing, and then they just kind of went, okay, and then turned around and ran away.
Yeah.
Cool.
Try to jump into the fray again.
I just want to slowly, as I get up, I just want to say, God, I love that teeth, like, and then slowly get up, and then look down the hag
Romance
at the decrepit body of the person I just murdered, just kick it really hard, and then run towards the house and just like, gotta finish the job, and then run towards attack the house.
All right, go for it. Make your attack against the roots of the house.
Can I attack where I am, or do I gotta get closer?
Up to you. It's all the same structure. The roots extend 50 feet out from
Okay,
where
so I'll
the,
attack a root
the
then.
hut is, yeah.
Okay.
So you can just find the nearest root and just start stabbing.
Alright, I will, because I'm out of maneuvers at this point.
Yeah.
Stab that wood.
Alright, straight roll, I guess.
They're gonna dock.
12 plus 8.
Yep, 20 will hit.
That's that's a 10 damage.
10, okay.
And the second attack,
Maybe they like it.
That's true.
actually,
No shame.
Trip the house.
no. Aha!
Oh my god, that would be
No.
incredible.
Everyone inside. What?
Second wind is an action, right?
Bonus action.
It's a bonus action,
Yes.
so I'll attack then do that after.
Okay.
Okay.
So second attack.
Oh, not very much. 8, 11.
11 misses, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Bonus action, you can heal a bit.
second wind that shield. Forget what the dice is. I think it's 1d10 plus the fighter level.
Yeah, 1d10 plus
Thanks,
5.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I chopped off my mullet. You have the ultimate mullet, so I
Oh,
really couldn't compare.
well, it wouldn't have mattered because you took 40 damage anyways, but technically you would have gotten temporary hit points from killing Papa Saga.
Oh!
But it wouldn't have mattered. You were
No,
down
it was so much
you were
damage
down
afterwards.
40
Yeah,
damage
yeah.
on one attack. Like, you were still out.
Alright, so 30 plus 8? 3 plus 8?
Yeah, so you heal 11 points. Alright, that's going to be your full turn. Top of the round, Leaf.
Hi.
Just looking out from the outside of the room, you can step in at this point. There's enough room. It's a little crowded, but you can get in there.
Okay, I'll
You
go.
can see the heart.
So is it still like enclosed by vines?
It's
or-
partially enclosed. You could try to rip it out if you wanted to, or you could keep attacking it. It's kind of up to you.
I'll try to rip it out. I have
Alright.
some bonuses against plant stuff.
Go
so,
ahead and make a strength check. This is just a straight strength check to try and rip it out.
So just my strength bonus.
Just your strength bonus, yeah. DC is 20.
I do have proficiency in strength. Do I get my proficiency as well?
No, that's only for saving throws.
Okay. All right.
So DC is 20.
Hey.
Oh!
Hey.
Oh.
You kind of reach in and just manage to get your fingers where the vines are just moving to a point where they kind of hook between your fingers, and you reach your hand right around the back of it and just pull straight back, and your shoulder pops out of the socket a little, and you just
Nice!
rip it out, and the heart immediately stops glowing, and the whole structure just freezes in place, and you all kind of jolt, right, as like something goes from moving 40 feet in 6 seconds to suddenly not moving, and you all kind of fall to the ground a little, but it now is just frozen up out of the ground.
And we reply in chat.
No,
No.
Just changing
combat's
music.
ended.
And it's so it looks like it stopped glowing. Did it like look like it kind of died, or what happened to it when it stopped glowing?
The heart
killed
just
the
seemed to
battle
stop
music.
glowing.
Okay.
I'm gonna get up and go back to the cage.
Back to the cage.
Someone grab the immovable rod!
Yeah, it's like
Is there-
way back there.
Les, I'll say you would know vaguely where it is. It's 15 feet off the ground, So you kind of like need to find someone to stand on their shoulders to be able to grab it.
I
But
have
you
a-
would be
Is the
able to
skull
do
nearby
that.
to jump off of?
I'll be there.
Not to where the rod is, because the skull had moved out
Okay.
a little bit.
I have a rope trick. I can put a rope in the air.
I'm 8 feet tall. I can help.
Yeah.
That also.
I'll get on your shoulders.
Is there anything in the hut?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I
Like
guess at this
that?
point we'd probably start. I'll like take out a scrap of cloth and like wrap the heart in it. Do we want to put this in the bag or
Yeah, let's toss that
Probably
bad boy in
a
the
good
bag.
do you want to? I mean, kind of looks like what we.
Yeah.
Guess we can
I'll-
go back to the winery now.
Yeah, but
Wine tour.
Maybe they'll give us another horse.
Alrighty. So,
Yeah, we'll look around the hut.
okay. So inside the hut, you see just a refresher of what you saw before. You see old furniture, wooden cot, wicker cabinet, slender wooden wardrobe, wooden
Yeah, there's a trunk in
table,
here.
stool, barrel-topped wooden chest reinforced with brass bands, and an iron tub stained with blood.
I want to open.
As they're looking inside the house, can I just be like stabbing the house? Just I don't know what's going on. I'm like,
Hang over the side.
Stabbing
going,
the house
"Nobody
or the
would die."
the roots, the roots.
Okay, yeah. So you just kind of on the ground, just like Ace Ventura, just punching the guy.
I can die.
Uh-oh.
So
That's not a good lesson.
It's not
to
the
take
takeaway,
home.
yeah.
So, the chest is the major thing of interest.
Yeah.
I had first said I was gonna go unlock the cage.
Unlock the cage of the ravens.
Right now,
Sure.
yeah.
So go outside. Go and make
They swoop in and
a lock
attack
check
us.
for this one again.
Oh, that
It's
was
whoever is in the hut.
That was bad. It did not work.
Yeah.
Can I go up and guide a lure? Or?
What's your total?
It's my
Proficiency
proficiency
plus
plus dex. It's 10.
10. Even with guidance, like this one is just proven a little bit too tough for you. At best, you could maybe get somebody to try and smash the cage.
Jordy,
I
I'm
can
gonna.
try.
else could try and lock it.
I've got thief tools. I can try.
Go
Since
ahead.
this is a lucky
Lockpick
roll.
check and with guidance.
It's dex, right?
For you, just dex.
Yeah, that's right. Just dex.
Yeah, dex
Okay.
plus the d4.
That
That
is
is
cocked.
that's cocked.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 14. Sorry, where's my dex? Oh yeah, 18.
18.
Yeah.
Not even for you.
Oh, wow.
It's tough. Whatever is holding these in place was clearly meant to hold them for quite some time.
Jordy, I'm gonna pop that chest.
Pop the chest, okay. The chest is locked. So how do you want to pop it?
Hey guys, chest is locked.
Can we trade and maybe
over.
somebody can smash this and then Allura can
Les,
help you?
Les, do you want to smash a thing?
Fuck yeah!
You just start climbing up the
I'm
roots.
just full of adrenaline from
Yeah.
the kill that
Go
I
ahead and
had.
just make a athletics check for me.
Have
From
we
the
checked-
kill being
checked
I
this
did a
killed.
murder.
chest to make sure it's
Oh, I
safe?
did it good.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
in
gonna
her house.
check
but
it for
Investigation check.
traps first.
Oh, fuck off.
You're slime.
What the fuck? It's a natural one.
Can I assist?
Can I investigate? Because I'm right
Yeah.
there.
It would be the two of you looking.
So it's. I mean, it would have been an 8.
Actually, no. This would have happened probably while you were lockpicking, so it would be you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
This is acrobatics, you said?
Athletics.
Athletics? It's a 8.
8. You find it tough. Like you've kind of hacked enough of it away that you're like find a foothold and then it just falls out and you just go.
I'm
"Oh,
also
shit."
very tired.
17.
17. Best you can tell, it's not trapped.
Okay. I think we're safe.
I'll try again when it's ready.
Can
Yeah, I'll
we?
cast detect magic, see if there's any sort of weird shit.
Detect magic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Detect magic. Doesn't appear to be anything magical emanating from there. The gem glows brightly of magical essence.
Okay.
Nothing else within the room at first glance.
Then I'll cast guidance on the lure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Guidance.
We should have probably checked the lady's body. Huh?
We're gonna do that when we get down.
She's gonna go.
Oh, wait, I should do that.
17.
Sorry.
17.
Yeah.
You
17.
came up to smash stuff.
Well, I came, but I failed to.
Oh.
I tried to get up.
Oh, guys, we got it.
You go to open the chest, and as you do, you get your keys in, or your lockpicks in there easily enough, and the lock does catch, and you go to lift the lid. As you do, you take...
Ah,
No.
fuck's sakes.
Well, you know.
Oh yeah, it was high DC to find this one.
The rogue's lot.
You take 21 points of lightning damage.
You are now the new head.
As Doctor, you recognize, and all the rest of you with the glyphs that you've seen before, a flash very similar to the door that you pressed that had dealt that damage to you. This one, upon opening it, does realize that it probably could have been disarmed, but unfortunately not able to see it. It was a little bit tough there. And you immediately take that lightning damage and you recoil your hand a little bit and then look down and you see 4 additional hands that are crawling across you. They all get to make an attack against you.
Holy shit!
Damn.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Can any of us
Bunch of-
react?
Is this
to
like
like
cliffhanger?
Nope.
Bunch of things here.
Crawling claws.
Yeah, it's like 10
Woo.
to 11.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Woo!
Good
So
joke.
4 of these. Allura, that is a 7 to hit.
No.
15.
No.
9.
No.
7.
Nice!
So all of them miss. And we'll say very quickly as all of you realize what the hell this is. These are dismembered hands with bones sticking out of the back of them that are essentially just clawing at Allura. So Doctor, between Eldritch Blast, between you taking your rapier, everybody taking swords, they easily get cut
They're
down.
very
They only have 2 hit points. But they're a trap that is designed to essentially just freak somebody the fuck out and try to hit them for the last little bit of damage. But opening up the chest, eventually looking inside, you find, so this will be the big stopping point.
Nothing. Wait, I want you to check the mage's body before we go.
Sorry?
I want to check the mage's body before we go.
Sure, we'll let you do that as well. You find 117 platinum pieces.
Holy shit!
Non-Strahd.
Whoa!
Even better.
Let's put those into
real money.
Yeah,
got
let's
the,
throw those in the baggie.
Flute.
I've got the money count.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's gonna want to write
One out of
all.
17
Somebody's gonna want to
platinum.
write all 13 lines of this down.
Holy
Oh, that's a big.
shit. Okay, I got it.
box.
117 platinum.
117 platinum, 954 gold,
Yo.
And this is all non-Strahd?
Yeah.
all non-Strahd,
Yeah, real money is real money.
2,066 silver, 273 Strahd gold,
Anyone want to settle down and
1,922 Strahd silver,
Sorry, 1,792.
907. Sorry, 1,922.
922 Strahd silver.
Okay, so that's all the coinage.
the official currency of
Right.
the park.
2 diamonds worth 500 gold pieces each.
Ooh, they
I'll
could come
pass
in
those to
handy.
Leaf.
Or 2 Heelys.
1 pearl worth 500 gold pieces.
Oh.
1 aquamarine worth 500 gold pieces. 1 topaz worth 500 gold pieces.
Jesus
That's my
Christ.
birthstone.
Oh.
It's
So those are the gems.
Mm.
Let me know when you're ready for me to
Yep,
continue.
keep going.
This is a deep chest.
A vial containing a shimmering silver oil.
Ooh, I want to take a look at that.
2 spell scrolls that you pass over and you 2 identify as Mass Cure Wounds and Revivify.
Nice.
Leaf, you want these?
A quiver of 20 arrows and 10 bolts that you're not quite sure why regular items would be in here. So you feel like these may be good in some way.
Yay!
Quiver.
You got some cool stuff.
Quiver of 24 arrows and
20 arrows and 10 bolts.
well, me and Allura can split that.
You're a timeless cub.
I'll say as well your magical eyes are still going. Those are all blinging for magical essence.
Bling, 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 bling.
Yay.
Magical, very magical.
That and the sorry, the arrows are and the spell scrolls and the silver oil,
And the silver oil.
Okay.
You
but
also
not the gems.
correct. None of the
Okay,
gems
thank you.
are pinging for magic. You also see a magical set of pipes, kind of like a pan flute, but a little bit of a wider brim to them. But you notice that on the ends of the 2 outside ones are very, very small, very intricately carved black skulls.
Ooh. May I investigate?
You'll blow 'em.
Maybe don't touch those just yet.
And the last one is you see a single silver gauntlet, right hand only, and in the center of the palm is kind of a large hexagonal symbol. And you actually look at it and you kind of realize it's upside down. You look back at it, it's actually a symbol of a rose in the center of the palm. And it seems like that hexagonal piece can maybe be pushed in some way.
We're gonna burn through a lot of pages in that identify book.
And that is where we're going to leave
No, I
it.
want to search the body. I want to search the mage real quick.
There's nothing on the mage.
Oh,
Fuck. Okay.
Well, you did it.
I did it.
Hey.
That was
Yeah, we'll pick things up where you're able to investigate the house to its fullest extent. Because
Yeah.
there are books on the walls. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll
We're in
definitely
the
pick that up
bayou.
next week. But Yeah, some good magical finds.
No.
I will say on stream, fuck you for lying for me, D&D encounter generator. This said that this encounter should have killed all of you.
I kind of thought I was
It said
going
it was
to.
a deadly encounter for up to 9 8th level characters.
Maybe if they got to use the floating skull.
I think, honestly, the deciding factor here was the fact that Rick's intelligence score was enough to realize that she was a keeper of the feather. You went and talked to her first. You got all the information. You knew what you were going into. You had a plan. And this is what happens.
I had a plan that I didn't
So
discuss
wait,
with anyone.
were you trying to kill us?
No.
But
this is-
we jumped right into that. We were
This-
like, oh,
this
a
is
crazy
something
hag
where-
that lives in the woods.
This is something where you were just like, if you didn't know what was happening, you were there just like, we're investigating. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you maybe got surprised by a scarecrow, and then the battle ensued, and then she all of a sudden floated over in a skull and
And
just
then the
started
hut kills
tossing
us.
spells at you.
That would have been fun.
Les, by the way, what you got hit by was a 8th level finger of death.
Oh,
It
shit.
hit you for
Break that finger.
7d8 plus
I
30
need to get those
necrotic
things.
damage.
Holy fuck.
I touched death and survived.
If
Which
it-
blessed hole?
No, this is the big one. If you drop to 0 hit points and are not revived by the start of your next turn, you die outright. If you drop to 0 hit points, if you are not revivified by the start of your next turn, you rise as a zombie under her control.
Sick.
That is
Fuck.
character death.
That is sick.
Holy fuck.
So you were 3 hit points away from potentially just being a zombie in the skull with her.
Oh my
that she
God.
could have sent you out
Oh yeah, because I
to
would have been
attack
able to
your
revivify
allies.
you.
I would have so played that as
You wouldn't
well.
have?
Well,
He
how
couldn't
would-
have. He was inside the
Yeah.
skull with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Ooh, that was so epic.
That was-
That was so
Yeah,
We
epic.
have some folks on stream with us right now.
Let me
Yeah.
double check. We did have a bunch of comments in the chat.
Oh.
We've got a couple of people viewing, nobody really commenting, but we got a decent number of comments, so thank you so much everybody for tuning
Yeah,
in.
thank you. That's what I wanted to say
Um,
is thanks for sticking with us for a little bit.
Yeah,
Thanks,
the
mate.
major one here, the name that I can barely read, Rena Bob.
Rena Bob.
Yeah, Rena Bob. I feel like I
Oh,
know.
like I'm Skinny Bob.
I feel like this-
Was Rena Bob the snack?
What?
Oh, I feel like
I don't know,
Maybe
we
it
should
was
call
like a
her
nickname
Fancy
for somebody I
Snacks.
knew when I was in Victoria. Her name was Serena, and I vaguely
Oh.
remember that she used to go by the nickname Rena Bob, but I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh.
Awesome! Yeah, great game. Yeah, we loved it. It was
That was an
fun.
awesome one.
That was a great one.
Jordy is so mad that we killed that hag.
I'll put
I'm
up
not
some.
mad that you killed the hag. I'm mad that she died in one round. She had to do one
Frankly,
thing.
I'm also kind of mad because all I did was fire 3 arrows that missed.
Oh no.
That was
I
really
mean,
cool.
I got a cool dimension dorm element. So.
Sorry, not
Yeah.
sorry.
You have to call
Oh, it
me.
is Serena.
I
Hey,
assume
Serena.
I would
what
have
up?
given the arrow bolts to
Oh,
you. The arrows to
We
you.
can
take
and
big
cast
risks
the bolt.
to
Yeah, and I think everything else will just wait and divvy
And
up.
almost died
Yeah.
from this finger of death.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So we are done for this week. We'll be back next week to divide up the loot, let you guys know what everything is. I'll have item cards for you at that point as well.
And go to the
Yeah.
Ember Temple.
And then
No, we're going back to the winery first.
Yeah, we got.
Well, I mean, you still have Berez to investigate as well.
Yeah, we
Oh,
got all
right,
sorts of
okay,
shit to
I got
do.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Also, I want to go back to the now that we have this gem, I want to go back to the Standing Stones and see what happens.
Even though he just said nothing is happening.
I know, but like, listen, it's like a druid. It's like a plant gem of power. Maybe if we go back to some Standing Stones, some cool shit will happen.
It's possible.
Who knows?
Let me have my plant magic, okay?
Okay. We'll go to the
I'm a ranger. It's all I have.
Exactly.
just give her all the plants, guys. Let her do her thing.
But yeah, great job, everybody. That was unbelievably well done.
Heckaroonie.
You had one person go unconscious twice in a fight where that thing was hitting you for 4d10 plus 8. It had a plus 14 to hit on all those vines. It hit you 3 times around. It could have attacked you from 50 feet out because it had a 50-foot range with all the trunks. It was crazy. So I was really happy that you guys all managed to do that as well as you did. So congrats.
The Crimson Tide stands its ground.
Kevin, I gotta give
Was
it to
one
you.
of the
That was
one-liners.
I
Yeah,
don't know that I.
It's a period.
I do.
I
That's
do,
the name
and I
of my
don't
battle
care.
squad in the land of the water.
You know what? Let him have it. He killed Baba Lasaga.
He did.
super.
Les finally got his kill.
From the
Is the
top
stream off?
rope.
This
Hey, I've
one
gotten killed before.
is-
Just not.